must move. Blake Delaney had to move out of the way. Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome once again to SRWTV. Tonight, it's round 3 of the Long Road Series for our TCRs, Touring Car Championship here at SRW, where we tackle the longest tracks on iRacing. Tonight, we head to Sebring International Speedway, and it's all thanks to our series sponsor, TOYOSIM. It's Cow, your average sim racer here, together with Hamish Munro on comms and behind the scenes looking after the action for tonight's race. It's going to be an awesome night, buddy. Sebring, this is the modified version, so completely new to all these drivers, mate. How are they going to handle it?
Oh, mate, I think they're a little bit lucky that they don't have to tackle the full course. I mean, we're currently on track to match our average driver numbers of about 9 drivers at the moment. So it'll be good viewing being on the shorter layout of this Sebring circuit, but a lot of bumps. The understeer is going to be incredibly tough for them to tackle, especially around that final corner. Of course, you know, less danger zones in the fact that we only have half a Sebring circuit to tackle this week, Cowie. But I think I think we should still see some moments at the curb of death like we've seen the last 2 weeks.
Well, look, this track is pretty much completely new to all of the drivers. So, you know, there was a quick poll when I was in the open chat there before one of the lounges, and none of them had driven this track before. So that is the first factor. So that should make it exciting. The final turn is turned into more of a hairpin now. So you don't have those sort of same lateral forces going around it and the multiple different lines. So that'll be interesting for them. But yeah, look, it's going to be exciting, mate. We've got a small field, but a smaller version of the track just to bunch them all together.
I think, you know, the change of layout a little bit is going to help these cars and even help for some different viewing, I guess you could say, Cowie. I mean, the last 2 weeks in F3 and GT3, we've run the full circuit version or the full layout of the Sebring circuit. So I think having the short circuit is going to be a nice change of pace, not only for the drivers who might have driven the longer version of the circuit, but also for the viewers as well, who have been keeping up with this series.
Look, I think it's one of those things, buddy, maybe a little compromise because we've only got, you know, 9 or 10 cars out on track. If we had 20 or 30, then the long layout would probably keep the cars bunched together for a lot longer. I think if we did the long layout here, we'd end up with a long sort of string of gaps between cars, so hopefully should keep the action nice and close. It is also a sprint round tonight, so that's going to, you know, ramp it up again, and it's a sprint round for our F3s at the home of Australian motorsport, Mount Panorama, buddy, so another double for us tonight.
Well, I mean, you are right there. It is a quad circuit or quad race for us here tonight. Of course, there was news coming out, especially because the F3s follow similar circuits to the Formula 1 calendar. There was news today about the new sprint format. I don't know if you saw it. They've basically changed how qualifying works.
Well, they're saying now that Q2 will be, the qualifying will be for the race, and the sprint will have its own shortened qualifying.
Yeah, it'll almost have like a 3-session shootout style where every driver will pretty much have a 1-lap dash to get a lap in on the way to the sprint. So, you know, all this news coming out about Formula 1 and obviously we're racing in the Formula 3s tonight around Bathurst. I mean, we come home from being on excursion overseas. I think we could be in for some incredible action, especially after seeing some amazing SR5000 action around Bathurst over the last couple of years. And those F3s, well, we've had banger after banger, haven't we, Cowie, these last 2 weeks?
Look, the dipper was really scary in the SR8 Radical, right? I can just imagine what it's like in an F3 car when that rear flicks down on you as you go down through the dipper. It'd be crazy. Same as these guys here having to deal with a bumpy Sebring track. As you said, the curb of death, I think they actually avoid the curb of death tonight. which is right as you come onto that back straight. We saw it catch out quite a few people last week in the V8s and some of the other series, the F3s. But this shortened layout, it's completely new, so it's just testing the boys. And you can see there a little mistake. I know I was talking with Tyson there in the lounge before we start there, a little bit of rubbing from the boys. And he was saying he's on the hunt for some points. He reckons he sort of, left a few in the bin with a couple of mistakes last week. And he's probably right there, buddy, because he was in a strong position. But yeah, look, still early in the championship. This is round 3, so there is a drop round that will apply for these guys, so they do get the chance to get rid of their worst round. So I suppose you can't read much into the ladder at the moment, buddy, but these guys are fighting hard.
I think they're not leaving anything on the table, Cowie. I mean, we've seen some of the hard and fast battles that these drivers have been producing week in and week out, and I think this shortened Sebring circuit, it's actually going to lend itself well to these TCRs a little bit, because it can lead to some nice and spicy little battle packs form, even with only, I think it's 9 cars in the session tonight in terms of TCR entries. Of course, Husey and Barber are in there as our safety cars and race control. So I think we could be in for some incredible hard, fast action. What can Bathurst do this week, Cowie? Can he get up the front again?
Well, he had a strong race last week, for sure. And he sits clear on the standings at the moment. He's got a 17-point gap back to Greg Johnson. I think Greg's been the real big surprise package this season. He has been a bit of a mid-pack runner in most of the series that he competes with, but it looks like he's found a bit of a home here in the TCRs, and he's putting in the practice. And I know that him and Tyson were doing some little adjustments to their cars when I was talking to them earlier, and I think he's found a little bit of pace, a bit more confidence in the car. So that's great to see, buddy.
I saw him practice there, actually. Backing up his performances last night in the AM series, Callan Hodgkinson, who took the round win yesterday out at VIR, he actually managed to get the fastest time for the TCRs in that practice session just before. So we'll have to see how he can do here in this qualifying session, because it appears that he has a little bit of pace about him tonight, Cowie.
I'm not sure if I think that might have been Callan's first win with SRW. I'll have to check with him, but yeah, it was awesome. I couldn't make the race, man. VIR's a track I liked, and that action was pretty crazy there in race number 2. We could see door banging and all sorts of stuff going on. It was great to watch. I made it home in time to watch race number 2, so that was awesome. But yeah, would have loved to have been out there, but I suppose I'll still get a chance on Sunday when the Pro-Am's back there, mate.
Well, I hope a couple drivers like Adam Hughes and Hodgkinson actually give it a crack on Sunday night, because both of them had some great pace. Even Tim Nicol as well had some good pace about him. So hopefully he can have a good little crack on Sunday night, and we could even see him get up into a position where he probably should have been at the end of that race. Obviously just getting involved with a couple of incidents that kind of ruined his night a little bit, but he made a nice little comeback for himself. So
look, it's one of those tracks that can really make a slight mistake and it can really cost you, especially down that back straight, coming up over the hill. I know my teammate Travis Daly, he had the problem there. He was having a good run. I said to him he would have been looking good for a podium if he hadn't made that mistake. But these things happen. Now, looks like we've got some times up on the board for the TCRs at the moment, but probably lap 2, these guys are still sort of getting some heat into these tyres. So we should see these times drop down, but so far it's only Dan Bartosh in the 14s. I think he did a 14.998. It's showing as a 15 in the live timing, but I did see it there before. But these times will start to tumble as the guys get the heats into the tyres, and I'm sure that they're at least got an idea how they're going to tackle it, mate. But you said understeer is going to be a problem. It's a problem in these cars anywhere, but add a bit of bouncing at the front end, that's going to make it 10 times worse.
Oh, it's going to make these cars super unstable. I think they are actually quite lucky in the fact that because it is the shortened circuit, they don't really actually have to deal with the corners that are real like tire
The big
killers.
load ones.
Yeah, so they are actually a little bit lucky. They still have to deal with the curb of death. We saw Tyson just come past
Oh, yeah,
it then.
there it is. You're right. Yeah, it is there.
So
Stand corrected.
you know, you still have to deal with it, but they're a bit lucky in the fact that turn one's pretty much the only heavy load corner on these front end tires in terms of understeering into the wall or even into the sand, just on exit. So it'll be interesting to see. Tyson's gone top here, Cowie. He's actually pipped Bartish. He's done a 14.56 that last lap, so he's done well.
Looking good. Yeah, looking good. Still early days, though. These guys are probably now we're going to start to see those times come down as the guys, they should have the tyres up and running by now. But as we've seen before, it is a sprint round format, so when you get into this, you know, the moment the clock hits 15, that's the end, no matter where you are on track. So you want to make sure you get one of those bankers in, because if you hit a wall or damage the car, and then you've got to go back out and spend another 3 laps trying to get temp back in them again, and that's 4 or 5 minutes gone. I
think the fact that we're having these pretty much, you know, just over, you know, about 1.25 minute lap times here, you know, 1 minute 15 sort of area, it's going to lead to actually having some fast-paced laps and having fast-paced action throughout the race proceedings, Cowie, because it is such a short lap of this short version of the circuit. You know, very few corners, very few spots you can get moves done, so people are going to be a little bit, I want to say, desperate to go for a move. They might be a little bit desperate to go for a move. Yeah. Hodgkinson here actually has just outdone Bardish's previous lap time. He puts him up into third here, but Bardish is on for possibly a best time he's done. Yep.
Well, I think my call has been proven right here. We can see lots of green and purple sectors from the guys as they've got the tyres up to temp. Yet we can see that there's now 4 guys into the 14s. Callan Hodgson with a 15 flat. Max Donnelly is currently sitting 3rd in the championship. Was probably a bit unlucky with some heavy contact costing him last week when he was up the front there looking at a big haul of points. So he will certainly be looking for a big comeback tonight. At the moment, sitting P6. With about halfway through qualifying now. But still enough time to make a move, and he's picked up a nice little draft here from Jono. So, has he improved his time there, Max?
No, I think that might have been a little bit of a
that was a slow down, yeah.
So,
I think, yes. So I think maybe he's gone in for hit a wall and had to do a reset and start it again.
It could have even just been a bit of a breather lap for him. You know, it is sometimes beneficial to just have a lap where you kind of reset the mind, reset the car a little bit, and then go for a push lap again after that, or maybe even 2. So I wouldn't think it's out of the realm for him to get a better time.
Yeah, I think you're right, because it's one of the things with the tyre model, as far as I understand it with iRacing, is the tyres can actually benefit from a cool down, after a heat cycle. So if you've got information on that side of iRacing, guys, let us know out there. Of course, give us your thoughts in the chat. We love to talk with the audience here and get your perspectives on the racing out on track.
So we see here Donnelly's actually done a couple of green or at least the first green sector here. Let's see if he's actually able to improve on his time through the final one. Unable to. But we know that he has got some good race pace about him. Hodgkinson is on for an absolute flyer right now, Cowie. He's currently got 2 purple sectors.
Yeah. And a green to finish. That's going to catapult him up, is it? Yep.
That puts him on pole.
1:14.19. So he's found some pace. And as you said, buddy, the confidence of his win last night probably coming in and decide to give us a nice slide for the cameras as well. Nicely done there, buddy.
I reckon he's I reckon that round win last night has just done himself dividends, because it's put a bit of a bit of a chip on his shoulder here and made him a bit confident within himself. I think he's actually found his groove within SRW now. You know, sometimes that first win is all you need to just find pace in your own
I'd
abilities
say
on
that. I
track.
don't know
So
if I'd call it a monkey on your back or anything like that. For some guys, it can be a little bit like that. I know, we'd been issue with the Alpha Venturi boys last season in the F3s trying to get that elusive win. But I think it also sort of just gives you, I don't know, relaxes you a bit, I suppose. When you hold off a field and you've got guys attacking from behind, give you that confidence and trust, in your driving. We all know to find pace, no matter what car you're driving, to be at the front in some of these fields, you've got to be driving on the ragged edge and gaining every ounce of speed and being right with it, just on the good side of that grip limit. And that's what the fast guys do.
I'll tell you what, Hodgkinson actually has a fair bit of pace to find here in the first two sectors as Bathurst goes up into P2 now. As McAvoy's just pipped Hodgkinson by 1/10 of a second. I was going to mention though, Hodgkinson, his first sector time is actually just bettered at the last lap. Apparently there, at least his last sector that he just did was better. Although it isn't showing his best sector times, actually it's showing his last sectors, but
Keep an eye on Fritzy as well, because Fritzy just did a purple middle sector and a green finish. So that brings him up into P4, so one with a 1:14.4. So only 4/10 separating the top four cars at the moment, buddy. And 1/10 between first and second. Tyson and Callan, and Dan Partush, he's only 16 hundredths behind Callan, so it's pretty close. 500ths back to Daniel, so there it is. Super close at the top.
Callan and Tyson are just trading purple sectors at the moment. Callan gets a purple in the mid sector. Does it better his time? It does, but it's not good enough. Tyson at the moment has gone purple-green here, so he's almost just pushing that car.
Look at that.
Oh,
little
yeah.
toe as well. That might help. Oh, it's an orange final sector, but he has taken a further 10th. Yeah, taken a further 2/10 out of it.
So the first driver to go on the 13s, I have to wonder if Dan will be kicking himself here that he's just given one of his main rivals a toe into the 13s. I reckon he should be getting on the comms now and asking Tyson. There's a little bit of a contact there. I reckon Dan needs to say to Tyson, "Oi, I gave you a bit of a toe then. You got to give me one now." So the tables have somewhat turned here, Cowie. I mean,
and Tyson was on the radio then, so there's a bit of impediment he feels as well. So, well, we'll see what happens. Race control has been fairly heavy on impeding and affecting cars in qualifying. So, is what it is. Spice it up a little bit maybe. But at the moment, it is Tyson McAvoy provisional P1 with about 2 minutes to go. Callan... Okay, race control. No further action, so just a mistake there and ran wide, so no penalty. Callan Hodgkinson, P2 at the moment. Is he close enough? Probably not close enough to get a toe from Tyson, but all these guys are going to get one more chance to put another lap down. As we did say, mate, 15 minutes is the end, as it is a sprint round tonight. We've got a 20-minute race and I think a 30-minute feature. So I don't think fuel's going to be an option in the first one, buddy. 40% fuel limit, I think it was. Let me have a look at that. It's a 30% fuel restriction tonight, so I don't think that's going to stop these guys or give them an opportunity to pit in race 1, but maybe race 2.
So we'll have to keep an eye on now these top 3, because any of these guys could actually take pole here. Cowie Hodgkinson will lead McAvoy round. He needs to build a bit of a gap here because he might actually end up giving him a toe just like Dan did a couple of laps ago. Dan also gave himself a bit of a gap to the car behind him, so he might actually be trying to get a bit of a toe here off Cochrane.
Yeah, but they're not going to get another lap in, and I'm only seeing sort of orange and green sectors at the moment, no purples, so I think Tyson's with a 14.01 that lap, but has the only man in the 13s at the moment, and there won't be enough time to get another lap in, so because remember 15 is the hard cut off, the cars disappear. So, get the feeling, buddy, this might be the qualifying results as we see it right now. Who's left out there to get home? Maybe
I think,
Steven Sinkovich
yeah.
might make it. Greg Leake coming around, but he's got a couple of orange sectors. Steven with a 16 flat at the moment. Needs to find about 3/10 if he wants to pip Greg Leake for the wooden spoon. Qualifying, there he didn't get a chance to finish it. I thought it'd be tight. Well, there we have it, buddy. Qualifying, and the boys were turning it on there. Should be an awesome race.
Oh, they really were. We'll just quickly bring up the official qualifying results now. Hopefully it actually lets me do it. It does. Very good. So there we see it. Tyson McAvoy, I mean, the only man to get into the 13s. Bathurst, a bit of a, I don't want to say underwhelming qualifying because he's still got a fairly reasonable time, but underwhelming in terms of he's gone, I think, pole the last 2 rounds, at least for one of the races. So it's a little bit underwhelming in terms of his previous performances and how much he's actually been outpacing the field, but it's good to see the pace actually kind of bunching up a bit. I mean, we see it there, the top 7 Cowie spread by under a second.
I think it's more, Tyson, he's chasing points. He's hungry tonight, so I think he might have even put in a bit of practice for tonight's race. Callan Hodgkin, as you said, that win last night is giving him confidence, so we've seen him put in a great time as well. So I don't necessarily think Dan's had a bad qualifying. I just think, those 2 boys have maybe stepped up and found their groove tonight. I did say to keep a watch out for Fritzy. He's there, and he's only 5/10, wasn't it? 500ths behind Dan Bartosh for the second row there. We've got Greg Johnson and Mark Cochran sharing row number 3, the Red Energy and Apex Esports runners. Max Donnelly for Team NZ, Dean Sinkovich, and then Greg Leake and Steven Sinkovich bringing up row number 5, our rear row. So we do have 10 runners. Awesome stuff, buddy. And tight track. Well, not tight track, short track with wide open spaces, with a couple little tight sections connecting them. So should make for some interesting racing here, buddy. And the draft will play a part as always.
I think even with the slower entry through Le Mans Corner onto the back straight, that toe down the back straight, but then also down the main straight as well, is going to be a massive factor. I'm hoping we can see some real sketchy dives down the inside at turn 1, but we're getting ready to go racing.
Round 3 is off and running in the TCRs here at Sebring International Raceway. They're spreading out, 5 wide there. Tyson got a great start. And we can see Max Donnelly and Greg Johnson, how inside they are going. Big inside line there. Oh, Fritzy's been caught on the outside. Can he keep it out of the dirt? He has. That was Mark Cochran, I think, behind him there that was flirting with grass and dirt danger there. But
Bartosh, he's off.
From Bartosh. He's going to slot in. Be careful here. He's done pretty well there. Lost a spot. 2 spots now behind Greg Johnston. But that was a moment that he would be rather thankful is behind him now. Oh, look at the gap already. Tyson has got a flyer.
The biggest loser off that Cowie was Hodgkinson. He's down all the way in P6 at the moment.
So we missed that. We might have to try and have a look at the start. But look at the gaggle of cars there at the back, buddy. They're Jocelyn Tyson has already got about a 0.6 lead. Max Donnelly had a great start. He's jumped through and he's got the same sort of lead back to Mark. But then look at this gaggle of cars in the rear. We've got a battle behind us, buddy. Look at it. Greg Leake, a bit of a mover in there. He's up a couple of positions. Fritzy's up 3. No, Fritzy shouldn't be up 3. He was P4, so he's fallen back a couple of spots.
Look at them all now making their way through. Hodgkinson getting a move done down the inside here on Johnston.
Johnson will have the inside for the next corner though, and you can see it just goes a little bit deeper. Make sure you hold the inside line.
Oh, there was no room between the tarmac and the grass then, Cowie. That was, he was almost trimming the edges there. He was that close.
Well, good racing because they both gave each other just enough room. It doesn't say that you need to give, acres, buddy, as long as you give just enough. Look, good run here. Oh, he's got on the grass a little bit, Callum. That's going to cost him a bit of speed. Daniel Fritz looking to make a move up the inside. It's also Dean Sinkovich back there who might get a bit of a run here. But yeah, look, Fritzy getting a run up the inside of Callum now. And that's how easy it is. Tiny little mistake, and these guys are behind are vultures. Oh, big
Look at Sinkovich! Oh, massive dive! And he's just...
John survived, and oh no!
He's just come in like an absolute freight train and just plowed into the side of, I think it was Greg Johnson there.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. We'll just have a quick replay here of Callan's start here on the race. We'll focus on Callan. So you see there.
Down, got a big bog. Yeah, big bog down. Fritzy had a bog down as well behind him as well. So both of those guys just, got a really slow start. Maybe not enough revs, I would say. I'm not an expert on starting these machines, that's for sure. But that's what costs them. At the moment, Daniel Fritz back in 9th position. Callan Hodgkinson doing well for P5, but yes. Oh, he's gone inside. Oh, that's the moment.
That's the moment.
That's the replay of Dean, and
And Fritzy's had a moment as well here, Cowie.
Oh no.
Turn 1. He's just gone wide.
Yeah, he did that. Oh, I thought he was going to catch that, and he's avoided them.
Oh, that was well parked though to get it back on the little driveway there on the side of the circuit. We see him now back in P9.
Hard in throat moment there. So yeah, look, at the moment Tyson McAvoy, he's got about a 3.5 second gap on Max Donnelly now. So he's just running away with this first heat race for tonight's double header. But the battle behind, things are already spacing out a little bit. Dan Bartosh and Callan Hodgkinson. Well, Callan's catching up on him. There was only a little mistake there before that cost him a bit of a run. Certainly not the excursions that we've seen from a few of the boys already around here. But it looks tight, it looks hard, looks like the car does not want to turn.
McAvoy's the only person so far in this race to get into the 14s, Cowie. He's on a 14.52, outlapping Bartosh in P3.
Look at that. Max Donnelly with a big moment of an exit there, and that's now going to give Dan Bartosh a chance and a run at him here. So we've seen a couple of mistakes there on the exit to the back straight.
And it's so easy to do through Lamont Corner to go wide and just clip that sand on the edge of the curb, Cowie. And once you're on there, it's almost like quicksand. It just drags you in and you're trying to get the car back on the tarmac. And it doesn't help with these cars, being that they're front-wheel drive and understeering pigs, because you're fighting the car to get it turned in, plus the sand is fighting you to keep it out. So it's almost like a double-edged sword battle, like you're going toe-to-toe with a claymore to your throat. It's incredibly tough.
Oh, look, Dan going deep there. Oh, he thought about it, but a wise decision there from Dan. He had a bit of a run there, but couldn't get far enough up, so Max wouldn't have known he was there. So that could have been really bad. So good judgment. Lived to fight another day, and at the moment he's shown some good pace. We'll get the toe in the moment. The curve of death doesn't seem quite as ugly for the TCRs, buddy. I know that the boys have been giving it, they're clipping it. I don't know if anyone's really riding it, but so far so good as far as the curve of death goes.
Well, I know that the real danger of the curve of death is it's not so much when you actually ride the edge of the curb, it's when you hook a wheel into the inside of the curb and then you go to do the turn on the exit and it just flicks the rear end out and just pushes you into the wall. So that's what these drivers need to be careful of. I've seen a couple of them get really close to that danger point of over clipping and under clipping. I know McAvoy did it off the start through there, but all these drivers doing well at the moment to just avoid that real car killer of a corner. So, but I mean, 5 seconds, almost 6 seconds is the gap now between Donnelly and McAvoy, and this is just becoming a dominating performance by him, Cowie.
Look, he is eating 0.6, 0.9, 0.7 with the last 3 laps that he's got over Max, so he's just stretching that out. Dan Bartosh is probably the closest to matching his pace, but already well back. We're talking 6 seconds or so, and has now starting to. Oh, he's right up alongside Max. We better jump back to Dan Bartosh because this is getting close.
Drive-through penalty for car 024 due to car contact lap 2, turn 8. So that will be Mr. Sinkovic, who went for that massive dive bomb. I mean, he was like a torpedo coming in there. So
see that move there from Dan Bartosh was a great move, but one thing it did do is it's compromised his exit speed, and you can see Max straight away coming back, and it looks like he's going to sweep around the outside. No, he's gone a bit wide there, but see, trying to do the same thing, taking a bit wider entry in and getting the run on the exit. So these boys are already starting to think about how to, make a move around here and just make a little mistake as he went a bit deep there. But, that was some interesting driving there to see what was happening.
This has put Callan Hodgson back in the fight now between these drivers, but it has also extended the gap to the leader to about 7 seconds. But we saw the sort of deep entry that Donnelly had. He actually had some really nice turn into turn 1 off that deep line. It seems maybe the shallow entry isn't actually the best choice for these cars in terms of getting it turned in and making sure it's actually going to make the corner, Cowie.
But it is a close battle out there, and one of the things about these cars, man, is like anytime I've tried to drive them, you just described my entire world in these things. I'm so used to just stamping on the throttle to get the V8 to step out. You can't do it in these things, and maybe you do that, it just induces more understeer. So my initial reaction is to make it worse.
I think the torque steer is the real problem here. Hodgkinson doing the fastest lap of the race that last lap of 14.16.
And Max Donnelly, so he's just fallen back a little bit as Callan and Dan starting to do times in the point. You see Max got a 1:16.8 last lap, so I think he's run wide there after Dan's got past him, and that's thrown him back into the clutches of Callum, who has said thank you, I'll do that as well. Just a quick shout out to the YouTube chat. I can see Joe saying Callum had a hell of an event last night. I did catch a fair bit of, there's a moment. And that seems to be the issue here. These guys just running a little wide on the entry onto the straight, and we've seen that, 4 or 5 times so far, buddy, costing a position.
We have indeed. Jamie Christiansen also asking what track are they doing next week. I think you would probably, I would hope you'd know more about the calendar than I do. I'm currently going off what sessions
at the moment. I think it's the Nürburgring, according to the calendar, the Sprint Strecke. So 3.62 Ks apparently. So it's, unfortunately, it's not the Nordschleife. I reckon trying a TCR on the Nordschleife, I think that might be declared as torture by the International War Tribunal, wouldn't it?
I think the organisers of SRW would have to be committed for war crimes if they were to book that. I think that would definitely, if we were in prime communist Russia, that would be a straight trip to the gulag for them.
Don't get me wrong, I would love to see the V8s race there, because I've got a video out where I've done a hot lap around there in the V8 supercar, and it's surprisingly well suited to the track. So the TCRs, maybe you guys out there, have you tried the TCRs at the Nordschleife? Is it as good or as bad as we think it might be? Let us know in the comments.
I'm pretty sure they do it. Don't they have it available for the N24? I think they do. I think they do.
The 24th was coming up, isn't it? Is it this weekend?
Not this weekend. It's a couple of weekends. I think So I think the TCRs, at least the Audi, is available to choose for the N24.
Wow.
They normally only allow the German-made cars because of the limited amount of manufacturers you can have on an iRacing session. They normally have the German GT4s, GT3s, the Porsche Cup cars, and I think they also allow the Audi TCR as well.
Well, Joe Mitch in the chat saying hi, buddy. Yeah, Anzac Kid. That's a pretty cool name, buddy. Thanks for tuning in and watching, or you can see there, okay, that's Callum with the first little jump of the curb there, and looked like it handled it okay. Look, a nice run here on Max. I think Callum got a nice exit there where he was able to get a little bit tighter line and carry more speed. See if the toe is a factor here, but already we've seen a couple of lines going into the braking zone here at the final turn and really affecting the exits of the run up into the next section. So this is making for some exciting racing because you can go in deep, get in front, and then maybe get caught again at the end up here. Or so this sort of section of the track, the last turn and the first turn, has been providing quite a few, great moments so far, buddy.
It's really becoming the. I love an onboard, especially the roll bar cam.
Top there. So he got the car turned in and then realised it might have been turning too much. Oh, that's a sharp turn as well. Really wide run there from Callum, and he's got nice little move through that little double right-hander. He's able to get pressure.
Sorry, we might just follow him here for the rest of this lap because he's actually looking nice and tidy here, Cowie.
We've seen that. He's jumping over the first curb and then getting a wide run onto the back straight. Yeah, nice run. Look at that.
Oh, no, there's contact! And he's in the wall!
Oh, no, Max. Max got loose on exit, and I think that's killed Callum because that car is smoking. Oh, on board. The gyro cam, but we copped it right in the gyro, buddy. Oh, my God. So, yeah, look, Max has just got... I don't even know if Max is really aware of what happened there either, buddy. So, yeah, that's going to be one that race control will have to dilemma over. I think that might be just big unluckiness for Callum, and he has retired that car. I think he must have got the okay from race control to tow that back, but well, that is at the moment. Wow. What do you think about it out there, guys?
Personally, for me, it appeared Max kind of hooked the sand, and we mentioned it, of how it's been almost like a war of attrition to try and get the car turned off the sand whilst it's trying to pull you out the other way, but it looked like it just hooked up and turned and just kind of snap oversteered into the side of Callan as he's coming around the corner and then just shot him straight into the tyre barrier. So,
Callum was on the power,
yeah.
Callum was on the power, so he was just a passenger. You get a hit like that at the wrong moment. It happened to me a few weeks ago, and there's just nothing you can do about it. So, but yeah, well, lovely. I suppose big contentious moment there in the race. We'll see what race control's got to say about it, but it is not affecting our race leader at the moment, Tyson McAvoy. He is almost 9.5 seconds out in front, and as a result hasn't hogged much of the airtime at all tonight, buddy, but doing a great race there, and myself and the rest of the PSR boys are proud of you.
I think, mean, even though he hasn't had much of the airtime, I mean, with some of the battles that we've had, I think you could understand. Of course, we always like to give a bit of an update on how the leader is going. He's actually bettered his qualifying time at race pace here, Cowie. He did a 13.86 on as his best lap time, and he's just got absolutely incredible pace. He's in the zone at the moment here, Cowie, and he's pushing that PSR Honda Civic to its absolute limits.
I'd say 14-1 on the last lap too, so he's certainly not giving up. And 14.01 from Fritz, he's up, made his way up into 6th at the moment, so he's having a good comeback there. But yeah,
we'll go on board here with the leader of the race. He's having an incredible race so far here, Cowie. We'll check out the wheel work into turn 1. Oh, a bit of a catch there, so maybe a little bit of a struggle to get it turned into turn 1, or maybe he was slightly early on it there.
I think it's a double go. I think it's a double go, so he's sort of doing one hit to try and get the car, the weight to shift a little bit in it, so then we can get it in. So I think that might be one of those sort of technique things. That's a little bit of a trick of the trade to get this car to turning. You see there, and again, he sort of gave it a little sort of 1-2 sort of turn and then turned in. There again, one little turn and then another hard turn. So I'm just wondering if that is an attempt to try and get the weight moving in the rear of the car to help it turn in.
Maybe that's
That
the
is really
strategy maybe that's the
Yeah.
strategy they need to get put into play. You have to go for those sort of forced double apexes to get it through a corner. You know, you get the little turn in, turn it back, and then turn in all the way to get it just kind of hooked in, and sort of, I don't know, counteracting that oversteer or the torque steer a little bit maybe.
Well, I know that, in speaking with the guys, I've been commentating the TCRs for about a year now, so I've got to have some great chats with the guys on how to try and drive these things. It hasn't helped me, and I can't say that I've really attempted it. But it's what you do to try and get the rear of the car around is no further action on our incident, buddy. So just one of those racing moments. I think race control have declared it. Just gut-wrenching for Callum after such a great race last night, because he was a pure passenger there. Oh, let's see. So I think part of the Callum was showing it before. I think part of the key to that corner back there is to, ride the first curb and only use a little bit of the second part. Even Tyson, they're going out on the grass a bit as he's coming around with. There'll be. Is this the final lap? He might get one more. No, he's going to get another lap in, I would think.
He should.
Perhaps two. Perhaps two.
Well, no, we're lap sensitive here. 16 laps for this race, so this will be the white flag lap. It'll be our final lap of the race, with about a minute 15 to go. So it will actually be about a perfect time actually for 16 laps around this course. Is 20 minutes. So white flag lap. It's McAvoy in P1 at the moment. Bathurst back in P2, and then Donnelly, you see him just in behind in P3. So you would have almost expected Hodgkinson to be around these guys still, but unfortunately due to a racing incident, the car has been parked for the rest of this race, Cowie, but he has got an opportunity to come back in race 2.
He certainly does. It'll be a fight from the back of the field, but we know that Callum loves those battles back there, and but yeah, just unlucky. I mean, he was a pure passenger, and as I said, Max just probably ran a little wide. The rear of the car flicked out. In these things, it's not as much of an issue when the rear flicks out because all the power's on the front end, and you can generally just power out of it. But that little flick cost Callum and hit him right at the wrong time. Just me here, I was just noticing the difference to the final turn here for the guys as well as they sweep right around. But it is the final turn for Tyson McAvoy. He will come home as race number 1 winner tonight for the TCRs. Great performance there for Performance Sim Racing. Well done, boss.
It was an incredibly, I was about to say an incredibly incredible performance, but that's a horrible play on words. An incredibly impressive performance there from McAvoy, a real cut above the rest in race 1 there, Cowie. I mean, 10.2 seconds, or pretty much almost actually 10.3 seconds, was the gap back to Dan Bardish in P2, who has been the talk of the series thus far this season. So McAvoy has come to play here, and he is trying to prove himself right now.
Mate, he said it before tonight. He was saying he's here for a big haul of points. So I get the feeling he's put in a bit of practice here, because I know one of the things that's been a bit hard for him is finding time to practice. We'd love to get him back in the V8s and that, but they've stolen him and put him in race control. SRW, the mongrels. No. But we'd love to get him into the V8 so that he's putting in his full efforts, to practice himself and then, drive the team forward. But we're happy to support him here, in his fight in the TCRs. But yeah, Dan Bartosh, I think Dan found himself, in the middle of a bit of action there. And, but, as you said, Tyson was just a complete standout, 10 seconds ahead there as we look at our Heat 1 results, buddy. Max Donnelly with a great start, and he consolidated that for a P3 finish. And Greg Johnson, after a big door banger on the side from Dean Sinkovich, has held on to finish P4. So, good result. And Steven Sinkovich, well, the Sinkovich wars, mate. Steven's got one up on Dean with a P5 finish. He'd be stoked with that.
You watch it. They'll go into F3s after this next TCR race, and Stephen will go for a really dumb dive down the inside and take someone out like what Dean did that last race. So it'll be they'll swap over for the next
Well,
race series, we'll say.
I'm waiting for the Sinkovich Wars segment, in their review show on Channel 31. So perhaps that's a segment idea you can run there with their boys. Now, I believe we got our race number 1 winner in the green room, where we can bring him down, have a quick chat to him.
We've got him in the booth now. I've just brought him in here.
Oh, there we go. Well
read
done.
your mind there, Cowie. So, massive congratulations to you there, Tyson. I mean, that was probably one of the most impressive performances we've seen in the TCRs this season. I mean, 10.3 seconds was the gap in the end. You've had some mega pace so far, mate.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Yeah, pretty happy to bounce back after last week's round. I was the fastest car there and didn't get to show it, but to come here and, turn on this weird, twisty, short track and, yeah, as you said, the 10-second gap was kind of pretty sweet.
So is that the way to play it, buddy? Just get out in front, stay out in front, keep clear of all the shenanigans going on in your mirror?
Well, at first I was going to start doing some fuel saving, doing some simulations for the next race. Then I looked at the time in the windows that I would have, and fuel saving is either going to lose me 10 seconds or it's going to be too tight. So I was like, hey, I'm just going to push and just keep going. So, yeah, built out that nice gap, setting purples, and Callum was challenging me there for the purple, but I was like, nah, I'm getting it. It's mine.
I mean, you had some great pace, didn't you, Cowie? I mean, it was incredibly impressive to see you beat your qualifying lap in the race by, I think, about 1/10
400,
there.
I think. Yeah, 400, I think it was.
Something ridiculous. I mean, you're hoping to just match that performance in the second race tonight and just get a good start and lead all the way to the end.
Well, I actually qualified on my race setup, so the race setup felt very good in the rear, and then the on-throttle control was getting it to rotate well. So I was like, if I can keep the same pace during qualifying, during the race, it should be the same. So as we saw with the times, it kind of was. So yeah, hopefully during the race, it should be fun.
Reverse top 10 though, buddy, so you have to fight your way through. Did you catch any of the shenanigans going on behind you in the mirror?
No, I didn't see any. I think I was just too quick, But
you're gonna have to fight your way through it this time, buddy. Any big strategies? Is there a couple of corners out there? We've noticed that sort of the last corner, you can make a move there, but it can tend to cost you into T1 as the guy gets a better run than you. So is there any major plays or areas you're going to try and attack out here?
Well, I'll let the viewers know. I'm going to be very aggressive. I'm going to send it with my last of the late break moves, and I'm going to try and, compromise as much as I can the other car to have a really poor exit, especially that last corner. And, I'm going to give them absolutely no room, but respectable room at the same time. So I'm going super aggressive in the next one.
Mate, I hope you have purchased your stamps and licked them before you send them. It sounds like you're becoming just a regular old postman for this next race, just getting ready to send that card in the inside. Good luck in race 2 tonight. I'll be very excited personally to see you try and make your way back through the field, but the big challenge now is Hodgkinson, who's been matching your pace all night, will start on pole after finishing in that last race. So good luck, but it's going to be a hell of a challenge.
Yep, thanks, boys.
Cheers, mate. All right, buddy. Well, we've come to the end of almost the end of the 5-minute warm-up period. So, time to bring up that grid for race number 2. If we can, we have to wait for it to click over. So I'm jumping ahead. But in the comments, I did see Greg Barber there with a Turn It Up Tyson. So, the race control boys have probably got their own side bets going on behind the scene because each of them race in various races in the series. I know Adam Hughes with a great race last night as well. Another one of our race controllers. And Joe Mahoney just telling Mitch to jump in the B8s on a Tuesday night. And he's going, no, I think I'll drive, practice and learn to drive something I can drive comfortably. It's probably a fair call when it comes to the V8. All right. So anyway, here is our grid for race number 2 here at our double header tonight here in SRW. Thanks again to TOYOSIM for their sponsorship. All our other sponsors, we'll give them a call out soon. The grid is Callan Hodgkinson on pole, Dean Sinkovich the sender. Next to him on the front row, Greg Leake and Mark Cochran, row number 2. Daniel Fitz, Stephen Sinkovich, 5 and 6. Greg Johnson, Max Donnelly on the 4th row, and Dan Bartosh and Tyson McAvoy bringing up that rear row of the grid. So keep an eye on the back there and watch for a launch from those boys as they try and get as many moves done in this first corner as they can.
We're getting ready to go green here. We'll see if Hodgkinson can get a better start than last time round. He did not appear to bog it down off the start that time, Cowie. But look at the start from McAvoy and Donnelly in behind. Look at McAvoy flashing the globes.
And that was Donnelly all the way through from the right side to the left side to go up to P2. That Audi is a rocket off the line, so Max really able to take advantage of it there. Tyson's just flashing at the moment, so I might go into the...
There's been a moment!
I think that's Greg Leake backwards. He's on the radio, so something has happened there. Stephen Sinkovich, he's lost a few spots as well, as he know. That was Dean back there. So a moment, and as we saw in race number 1, when Tyson jumped clear, Callan jumped clear as well, but it is a safety car come out, buddy. So let's take a breath. Oh my God.
Since we are now under safety car, we will just quickly get a replay of the crash that happened with Greg Leake. See what's happening here. And he's been turned.
Yeah, look, Tyson running wide. I don't think he's come across. Probably didn't know Tyson was there. Okay, he's just been given permission to tow. That'll be another one for race control to look at. Generally, lap 1 incidents like that, it's probably going to be a racing incident. But the safety car coming out, it's going to bunch these guys back up after Callan made a great jump there at the start.
He's well, he had a great start there, but now we're going to be bunched up again. Max Donnelly up to P3, and look at Dean. I wanted to say Spinovich then, but Dean Sinkovich in behind had a bit of a moment there off the exit of turn 1. It now puts Donnelly up into P2, so the pressure on Hodgkinson will be rising immensely now, Cowie, off the end of this Prime Department safety car.
Did Dean just throw away 5 positions? He did. With the safety car called out, Dean, you can't do that sort of stuff, buddy. Come on. Joe Mahoney out there telling Mitch to jump in the deep end with the V8s. Oh, look, I love the V8s, mate, so I thoroughly recommend it. But, yeah, look at that. Oh, Dean. You were third, and you've had to wait for the entire field to go round, so... I suppose the safety car does give you a chance to fight back, but Stephen with a moment as well, losing the rear. So, weren't we giving you boys enough airtime or something? You needed to throw a spin in under the safety car to get us looking at you.
All you can do is laugh at that because, and the more I've seen this over the last couple of weeks, the more I believe it now. It could not be more part of the Sinkovich narrative to have one of them spin at one corner, have the other pass them while they wait, and then spin at the next corner. It's just, then you can't write this stuff.
If the safety car is going to do another lap here, can we have a look at the start? I want to get an on board with Max Donnelly because he did the zigzag move and went from the right hand side straight across to the left, and was fighting for P2 into T1. I think he got out of it, but that was an insane start. Again, that Audi just a rocket ship off the line. Let's have a look at this.
Off the start here.
He's to go round the right there, and then he's seen a gap here, and look at this.
Big old Sen.
Look at that.
He's like one of those guys, although you wouldn't have this since you
straight to P2. Look at that. What a move. I was just saying though, it closed up on the right, and he's just gone left and can't his way right through. That was some great driving and great to watch.
For those who live in the southeast, suburbs area. That was very someone speeding along the Monash-esque and just weaving in and out of traffic. You know, cut the 4 lanes. So.
That was great. I mean, look, it is one of the big advantages that the Audi has is it's a rocket ship off the line. It's actually, I think it's a bit easier to get it off the line too than the other cars. That's not to say that the Veloster and the Honda can be slow, but I think they're a bit more difficult to get that really good launch. So, but the Audi, yeah, Max again, you know, I think he's probably the sole Audi out there, is he, Bunny?
Yeah, and I don't believe there has been another one all season, if my memory serves correct. We are about to end the safety car period, but it's still good to see an Audi out there competing.
Yeah, well, Tyson was racing the Audi last season, but I think he's changed over to the Veloster and, you know, finding a home there. But all right, control of the field has been given to Callan Hodgkinson. Max Donnelly. We'll have to see where Callan goes here because Max is closed right up and is not going to let him, you know, give him too much gap. How does Callan play it? Oh, he slowed him up a tiny little bit and then went. So that's nice and early and probably should hopefully forestall any issues into the final corner if we bunched them all up.
Look at them all firing down towards turn 1. Look at Tyson!
Tyson. That's Dan Bartosh next to him there, and Dan's got out of it just to let Tyson through. Again, going for that slow in, tight out. Tyson's really ran wide, but he's managed to carry the speed around. So that's, again, those two different strategies. One of the hallmarks of Sebring, I think, is that, you know, even the full layout, there's several corners you can take multiple different lines. Well, we're seeing even on the little sprint layout, it's got the same traits.
Tyson was not lying when he said he was going to lick the stamp and send it here, Cowie. I mean, it's already off the restart, and he sent it down the inside on Dan at turn 1. I think we could be on here for an absolutely fiery finish to this race if he can get up towards Max and Callan towards these next couple of laps here. I think, you know, Callan's going to have some big pressure.
Run back on him. Dan got a run back on him, but then Tyson made his one move just to cover it. But yeah, I think Dan was almost ready to go up the inside there. But he did well to defend it. Okay, Steven Sinkovich has done all right. He's picked up another spot. I know he's ahead of his brother. It was Daniel Fritz that must have got caught out. Did we see what happened to Fritzy? He's had a big off track just there on the restart. So that's what's happened. Oh no, he was already at the back of the field then. He pitted.
Yeah.
Fritzy pitted on lap 2. So not a bad call if you're near the back of the field. If there's another safety car, he might have enough fuel on board to get home.
Very well could be. McAvoy's also now gotten past Johnson here, so he's back up into the top 4. Barter should be hoping to get the move done and follow him around. Mentioning about car types here, Cowie, I don't see any Elantras in the field. Funnily enough, only the Civic, the Audi, and then the Veloster. So
that's the one TCR I own. So
yeah, I own the Elantra as well.
Doesn't give me any confidence that no one picks it.
Yeah, that was when they brought out the two Hyundais, or Hyundais as I like to call them, the Civic. Yeah, I bought the Elantra, not the Veloster. So
yeah, same here.
Quite interesting. I mean, maybe it's just personal choice.
Oh, it's one of those things, you know, you get to love the hardware that you practice in and drive. But I know that, you know, my teammate Tyson, team boss Tyson, he made the call to go from the Audi over to the Veloster. The Audi is one of those cars that doesn't handle the curbs very good, very stiff. And it's hard to dial it out. And we've seen sort of last season we saw that, you know, at the flatter tracks, you know, Max Donnelly, you know, was driving a rocket ship at times, but get him on a bumpy track and, well, you got to take a lot of curb, or he just blinked a little bit there with that New Zealand connection, internet connection there. But, you know, when it was, you know, a bumpy track, it'll run a lot of curb, you've got to be really, really careful in them. Alright, so hopefully that blinking doesn't become too much of an issue there for Max. But Mark Cochran has got a bit of a run on him here, and he's disappeared. That's going to be scary as hell if that's happening to Mark. Race Control, I'm sure, will be keeping an eye on Max's ping. It is part of the responsibility of the driver to make sure they've got a stable internet connection to race in the league, because we've seen before, guys disappear and reappear inside cars and send them spinning. So, unfortunately, I suppose it's the, iRacing's version of technical gremlins in the car.
Car 37 and 71. The incident on lap 1 has got no further action, so I believe that would be the one between Fritz and McAvoy. I think, yeah, McAvoy and Fritz. So that would have been when Leak. Sorry, that's when he sent him into the wall. A bit of a racing incident.
Yeah, I think Leakey came over. Tyson was there. Leakey wouldn't have seen him. Tyson wouldn't have thought he was, coming over as he did. So it's sort of one of those sort of moments.
Something's happened to Hodgkinson here. Hodgkinson, we've missed it. Hodgkinson's actually had an incident.
He's had it off. He's had a major off by the looks of it. Now back in 8th position. Oh, he's looped the car around as he saved. He's kept it out of the wall. But he's spun it there as well. Yeah, so that's cost him heaps. Well, Callan, we've been one of those nights for you so far tonight, buddy. It wasn't your fault in race number 1 by no chance. And it's one of those things, I suppose, you push or make a tiny little mistake and it ends up being, a night you go into it with great confidence and you come away going, what the bloody hell happened?
I think
the
beauty of it is, though, there's still a long way to go here, Cowie. I wanted to mention before, though, Mark Cochrane, before the previous fast, so the fastest lap of the race lands in the name with Tyson McAvoy, who did a 14.49. The previous fastest lap was actually Mark Cochrane with a 14.64, so he's actually got some great pace at the moment in P2 and could be a little bit of a dark horse for a quality finish today.
He's having a great race at the moment, running P2 at the moment. And this is Tyson. Look, Tyson McAvoy has got past, he got past Dan a while and now fighting back. He's looking at making a move up the inside there on Mark. Good respect driving from both those guys, giving each other room. But Tyson's now up on the inside. He's trying to make sure that Mark doesn't sort of move over and shallow his entry into the final corner here. But Tyson positioning that car perfectly and is looking likely here to run away with, to take P2. Can Mark get him on the cruise switchback? There's a nice run here. Let's stay on board and watch this, because this is a great battle here, buddy. Awesome move from Tyson, and you can see there Tyson now covering on the inside to make sure Mark couldn't get a run up on him there. So it looks like he's done everything to make sure I get that job done, buddy.
Look at the run though that Cochrane's got through the corner there. I mean, a little bit of a check up because of the brakes being applied from McAvoy ahead, but both of these guys, they're swarming like sharks a little bit now onto the back of Donnelly here. But it'll be interesting to see if Cochrane can actually hang with these guys and keep the pace up.
Had a little bit of a look up the outside there. That would have been interesting. But yeah, look, I think the Veloster seems to be, that's both. That's the Veloster and
the Civic.
Then the Civic, yeah. So both of those cars showing good pace. But yeah, the Audi, great off the line, but with those curves, you could see he was being really circumspect and staying well away from that curve of death, whereas the other guys are sort of getting up on it a little bit more. All right, so Tyson now up into P2, putting the pressure on Max. Got a nice tight run. Max has run a little wide here. Oh, Tyson just using all of that there. Can he get it done? He's going to switch across in front. And he has got it done. So Tyson McAvoy, P10 to P1. And we're on lap 10. So
that's a positional
really
lap.
Really said here tonight. Yeah, crazy stuff.
That previous lap. Oh, but Callan Hodgkinson's just pipped him. Better say, McAvoy just did the fastest lap of the race, 14.35. But Hodgkinson answers the call, a 13.7. The fastest lap of the whole proceeding that's happened at Sebring.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Callan Hodgkinson trying to go around. There's that Dean Sinkovich there and was trying to get Greg Johnson as well. And, he almost gave Dean a bit of a look there. But he has got it consolidated. So Callum with the fight back now. And look at that car of Greg Johnson. He's had a few moments in race number 1 where he got banged around big door banger from Dean Sigovich in race number 1. And the rear of that car is looking pretty banged up at the moment too. And Callum getting a nice exit onto the final straight and a run past him. But yeah, it looks like Greg's been in a bit of the wars tonight.
Oh, that was a bit of a wide line on exit.
Wide, yeah, that's going to leave him vulnerable to Greg to try and fight back here. But Callum just making sure he keeps that inside line. We'll see if Greg can sweep around the outside. That move has been on here. And Dean Sinkovich getting right amongst the action as well. Is he going to look up the inside of Greg Johnson?
Have to see, he's gone shallow. Johnson went on the sort of much deeper line there. The pressure is on at the moment though, but from Sinkovich on to Johnston in behind Hodgkinson. Now Hodgkinson has actually spread himself a nice little gap here, Cowie. I mean, he's spread it like butter on hot toast. He's just separated a little bit here.
He's got good pace, man. That 13.7, the fastest lap tonight. Tyson said that he in the chat there with Tyson after race number 1, he did say that him and Callum were swapping purple sectors. Well, it's all purple for the blue machine there, Callum Hodgkinson from Crisscross Racing. He's about, how far back is he? What's the gap?
He's about 3.5 seconds up to Daniel Fritz.
For Daniel
P5.
Fritz. But he's still, and what's that? We're talking
he's
probably
got about 10 seconds up to Tyson in P1.
Yeah, so he's about 20 seconds behind the leader at the moment. So, but that last podium position, Max Donnelly, that's, well, it's about 12, isn't it? No, about 5 seconds.
Yeah.
It's about 5 seconds, so that might be doable. We can see there a little moment from Mark Cochran, and that's put him back under the pump of Max Donnelly. Dan Bartosh joining this little party as well. Gotta love the TCRs at the moment. You start to have little battles going on. It just blows everyone up that little bit that enables people to fight. You can see there, Mark got a little bit ugly over the curbs, and Max Donnelly got a run on him here. Both of them with a good exit there, so that might have just saved Max this lap. But all three of these boys pushing hard, and it's what we love to see here at SRWTV. A big thanks to all of our sponsors here at SRWTV. Of course, our series and round sponsor, TOYOSIM. Big thanks to them. But also a big thanks to Fast Track Experiences, Racecraft, Sim Rigs, Grim Industries, Warren and Brown Tools, Melville Equipment Corp, Dragon RC, and of course the promo department safety car.
Tell you what, this battle is becoming super thrilling at the moment here, Cowie. I mean, the pressure that is being applied from all angles is just, it's almost gauge breaking in terms of the fact that these little battle packs are starting to form. The little pressure bubbles on the track map, you could almost say, are starting to build it throughout. It is getting tastier and tastier throughout these proceedings at the moment.
Well, I know you meant enthralling, but I think enthralling is still a pretty good word to describe things at the moment. So great battle going on here at the moment. Oh, Dan Bartosh, I think that was a little tap there as he got a great run, but that little tap might have just taken a bit of the gas out of it. We'll have to see here. Yeah, and Max Donnelly's got a nice toe on Mark Cochran as well. Is he going to flick out and send it up the inside? Here it is. There it is. Can he outbrake him? Mark going nice and deep. Can Mark get him on the switchback? Look at that, too wide around that corner. And both of them on the gas, so that's some great drive at the moment. Okay, so Max is deciding to pit now. So leaving the battle there. Maybe feeling the boys are holding him up. I don't know. That's an interesting strategy. Or the Audi might chew up the juice a little bit differently to the other cars. I suppose multi-car field, I'm used to just two cars, you know, a Holden and a other thing, right? So I'm gonna cop it in the chat for that one, I reckon. But I'm used to a two-car field, you know. But this is what, 5 in this, so you know, trying to keep abreast of the characteristics of each of the cars is quite difficult. And I mean, you know, the V8s are pretty much the same thing with a different shell anyway. Oh, Bartosh with a big moment there, banging doors. I think a bit with Mark Cochran. I think he maybe caught that and avoided contact. but it has cost him pace. So Mark's holding his own back there. It's awesome. But it is TOYOSIM McAvoy now with almost a 5-second lead. So that is a P10 to P1. And now, as we come up to 20 minutes into this race, a 5-second lead. That's crazy.
I need to ask you, Cowie, were you good with counting in school? Because we've got an Audi, Hyundai, and a Honda in the field. That's 3 manufacturers, mate, not 5.
Sorry, 5 for the whole lot, but
okay.
there is 3 tonight. Okay,
Yeah,
you got me. You got me.
Oh, then there's 4 then, because there's only the Elantra as well, isn't there?
Yeah, okay, you got me right there. So,
Yeah.
we're both wrong then. So,
I mean, it'd be nice. It'd be nice if they had like the Peugeot, or I think there's a. I think there's a, and then there's an Alpha as well. But...
So Dan Bartosz has got the job done on Mark Cochran there. Mark tried to fight back and almost threw it up the inside there at the curb of death. But Dan's got that job done, and Fritzy's almost in the fray here as well, mate. So that's what you're going to love them. Well, sorry, that was Fritzy on Dan. I apologise, it wasn't Mark. So Dan's had a little bit of a moment, and Fritzy's got right in the hunt. I did say I gave Fritzy a bit of a call out before, because I saw he had some good pace there during the qualifying, and he's had a couple of moments early on in the race on cold tyres, but once he gets it up to temp, he's sending this thing, and he's got some good pace.
I'll tell you who this brings back into effect now. It is Callan Hodgkinson just in behind. He is producing qualifying quality laps at the moment. And this little battle here between Fritzy and Bartish, the battle of the Dans, is just bringing Cal back into contention to sort of just pull him forward up towards the bottom of the podium here. I guess once he gets past...
Pick up the inside.
We'll have to see how they go here through towards Lamar Corner. But it'll be interesting to see if Callan can get ahead of these guys and get some clean air, if it can actually help him get up towards Tyson and really put the pressure on him towards the end of this race.
Well, it's a 5-second lead now for Tyson McAvoy over Mark Cochran, currently running in P2. Mark having a great drive here. Can't give him enough of a call out. It's now Fritzy battling Dan Bartosz, and Fritzy's up the inside. So he's going to have the inside running on this corner, but we've seen before you can go double, but is that Dan maybe struggling with the front end of the car a little bit there? Might have chewed a bit of life out of those tyres with his battles earlier. But Daniel Fritz now up into the final podium position and showing great pace, and we can see Callan Hodgkinson putting pressure on Dan as well. So perhaps Dan's overdriven that car a bit earlier and is paying the consequences of it now, buddy.
Yeah, I think that could be definitely one of the possibilities, especially with these cars and especially with this sort of car and track combination. I mean, Sebring is well known as a bit of a tyre killer, and these cars are real tyre killers because of the oversteer and also torque steer as well. So these are some. We're almost getting a bit of a cocktail here of combinations of, the track will kill your tyres, the car will also kill your tyres. Good luck. Good luck driving it with nothing on the wheels. They've gone past the race distance of what they did in the first race, Cowie. So they haven't really felt how these tyres go for this long at the point of the practice quali or even last race.
Well, we've seen that tyres generally aren't an option in the pit stop. The time you give up because the refueling and the tyre change is done separately, and these are like 4 or 5 stud wheels, are they? Or single. But generally, it adds tens of seconds to the pit time, so the guys just never see the worth of it. What it does mean is that near the end of the race, when you're starting to run out of rubber, it can make some exciting moves and maybe bring out a few mistakes. And as you can see here, Dan is really starting to struggle as Callan is putting the pressure on in gobfuls.
So it looks like the Veloster has a single stud wheel, I think. Maybe? I don't know. Can't really tell unless it's parked up, I guess.
Look at that. You can see them all there. That's going to be at least a 4 or 5 stud, over that centre core, I would think. So, but yeah, I know that from before, the pit stop time for tyres, and that, like, if you're looking here, Fritzy spent 5 seconds in the pits. The other one that has pitted under race conditions, Max Donnelly, spent 6 seconds in the pits. So, that's just a quick splash of fuel. Fritzy's obviously would have been, because he only he came during the safety car in lap 2. So it'd be interesting to see if he's got a pit again, because I think all of these guys are probably going to have to come in for a little splash and dash at the end. Max Donnelly pitting on lap 14, that tells me that, the Audi couldn't make it. Can either of the other manufacturers out there make it?
I think there'll definitely be something to really just keep in the back of our minds, because it's going to be something, and even I mean, I guess there's not going to be that much fuel saving needed, I guess, as Hodgkinson's just gone fastest in the first sector.
Tyson did talk about trying to practice fuel saving, and he just felt he was going to give up way too much time there, and pushed on. But perhaps a little bit of fuel saving is an option to get you home, and not for the Audi. So I suppose, look, I love this stuff, buddy. Speculating about those pit strategies. It comes into 4 with the F3s. Generally, they're doing, at least 2 or 3 pit stops in most races. So, and look at that nice move, Fritzy putting the pressure on Mark Cochran, and Mark trying to keep around the outside and keep that inside line into T1, but Fritzy's got half a car advantage there. Oh, Callan Hodgkinson getting in on the action too. Great switch over to Gyrocam, buddy. Oh, look at this, Fritzy. Yeah. Oh, he's going to try and go up the inside of Fritzy now. Oh,
there's a bit of contact.
Yeah, Fritzy's had to get out of it.
He's just fired it down the inside on the...
Callum.
Oh, that was a great but gutsy manoeuvre there by Callum. We'll see if he does it here.
He's going to go for the 2-for-1 here, buddy, because he stayed on the inside through all of that and displaced Mark Cochran. So you did say, is Callum going to make his way through in time to fight Tyson there out front? Well, he's just done it. Daniel Fritz has gone on the radio just to ask race control to have a look at that. But I think that was just, a bit of door banging and some great racing.
I think the only caveat to this is we are closer than 5 laps on the end, so we're not going to get a safety car, which means we're not going to have the field bunched up. But I think Callan's had some great pace to maybe close the gap. I mean, all we can do is hope for a mistake to bring them together, but... Yeah,
8.5 seconds, mate. Yeah. I don't think you can do that. Nah. And Tyson's got the opportunity to react as well. So I think that's going to be quite hard. We're going to be focused on this battle here for the minors. Cullen has got through now and has jumped about 4 tenths ahead of Mark Cochran. Mark Cochran, with an awesome drive, he's held off Fritzy. He's held off Dan Bartosh as well. Callan Hodgkinson has snuck by him there in all that fracas behind. I mean, if he was watching his mirror and he saw Fritzy going wide and that, he could be, forgiven to think that, Callan was going to pose a threat. But then he ended up on the inside with a great run. So, but, Mark is having a belter out here tonight and is looking good to hold on for the final spot on the podium there.
He's done very, very well for himself here to kind of just up his value a little bit within the TCRs. I mean, he's kind of been a little bit in no man's land the last couple of weeks, but he's in it for a massive fight at the moment to take, well, a massive podium finish here at Sebring. I mean, we predicted really that Callan had the pace to make his way through the field towards the end, but not quite enough to get close enough to the lead. He's only a mistake by Tyson McAvoy away from getting into the lead of the race.
Look at this, Dan Bartosh. He's seeing his opportunity now. Fritzy just fallen off the back of the battle there with that incident, and now Dan Bartosh is closing that gap in. Fritzy's run wide. That's going to give Dan a great opportunity here. Oh no!
Oh, they've come together.
Hasn't tagged him. Is that car broken? He still keep going. Oh no! Oh, this is unbelievable. And look, Greg Johnson also going deep there as well. Oh, no, rejoin from Dan Bartosh on Dean Thinkovich. That could be an issue too. Oh, jeez, man. just when we think things are starting to get sedate here in TCR land at SRWTV, it spices up. Oh, wow. Well, this man, he did it all early in this race. P10 through to P1, and he's now got an 8-second lead. So Callum is taking a chunk out of it, but nowhere near enough laps left for him to close that distance considerably. So Tyson's maybe just pulled his brake markers back a little bit, not doing quite as much risk. But these guys look like they're going to make it home without pit stop at all.
I think
so. That is
that incident,
interesting.
Was almost like the tower of cards falling over, and it kind of like, I don't know. It was kind of, it just got worse and worse as it went on. The more we looked at it.
Oh,
but
look, Callum deserves a bit of luck after what happened to him in race 1. But here we go.
We have McAvoy.
Okay, so it's going to be a post-race investigation on that one, so we won't get a resolution here tonight. So, but it does make for some exciting racing. All right, it is Tyson McAvoy for Performance Sim Racing coming around the final turn here to hopefully come through. This is going to be the green flag lap. Yes, I thought.
Checker flag lap.
Yeah, this is it. He is about to come across the line to take out his second victory of the night in the TCRs. A dominant P10 to P1 finish with an 8-second gap in between. That is crazy pace tonight from Tyson McAvoy. Unfortunately, he's going to be totally insufferable in the team chat for the rest of the week. But no, congratulations to him. Callan Hodgson, well, what an awesome drive from Callan to bring it home in P2. Great, an awesome battle there at the end, and we'll see what Race Control has got to say with that in the week to come. But a great drive, and Mark Cochran with an awesome effort, hanging on to that third place at the podium, did much of the race in P2, battling hard for P1 there in the early stages, and he's got himself on the podium. So that's an awesome result for Mark as well. Fritzy, well, Fritzy's finished in P8, so has he run out of fuel?
No, I think
he's had a big moment there on the last lap.
It was from that moment that happened coming into turn 2. I think he was
all
really
those
caught
spots.
up. Yeah. Greg Leake had a bit of a moment after the checkered flag was waved. He ended up coming into turn 2.
I think he's just pulled over here.
Has he run out of fuel?
Yeah. Perhaps.
Yeah.
Well, that will be interesting because I'm pretty sure that Race Control would say you need to bring it back for the to the pit lane. But at the moment I can't see any other cars coming back to the pit lane at the moment. Oh yeah, they come. Yeah, they are coming in. Race Control letting the guys know there will be an investigation, but from what we saw, it just looked like great hard racing. But I suppose it's not our job, is it, Hamish?
I suppose they must think there's something in it there, Cowie. So, otherwise they wouldn't be wanting
investigation.
Yeah, so
I think it warrants it. So
I mean, they might have had a look at it and decided, we actually need to have a bit of a further look here just to really crunch down on what the problem was or who caused it. So obviously they think there's something in it. They're not just that it's a racing incident. So it'll be interesting to see within the SRW community what the decision is in terms of a penalty or anything like that.
As far as I'm concerned, it's not going to take away from tonight's event because that was some awesome racing. I think the short and Sebring track really suited these cars tonight, and it kept that action hot and thick. You know, the reverse top 10 spiced it up. We have had a P10 to P1 barnstorming race from one driver. We've had several others get involved in incidents, thrown back in the pack and then fighting their way back. Cullen Hodgkinson with a great drive for P2. Even Fritzy there right up until the end. He was battling for the podium after, a fairly ordinary start. So, Dean Singovich winning part 2 of the Singovich Wars. So perhaps running away with it tonight with the slight advantage of the way the point structure works. So Stephen might be a little bit upset there, but boys, come on, we want to see a Sinkovich War segment on your review show.
All it
And
needs to be is just a whiteboard with a score of Dean something, Steven something, blah, and then a line in the
that's right.
middle.
Put it next to the TARDIS up on the shelf. You know, those
Yeah.
things you put in the back of your shot. You
And
know,
then you
Get
just
someone
grab it and
TARDIS for it.
you adjust the stats live on the air. You say, all right, well, last week Stephen beat Dean in 2 races, but Dean beat Stephen in 3 or whatever it is. And you just update the scores every week, and then maybe the winner gets a slab or something at the end of the season or whatever, you know?
All right, so I think we'll bring all 3 of the boys in here together, buddy, because the sprint round we're probably running a bit short on time for the F3s.
And get rid of it real quick, and then
So we'll get rid of it real quick. That's what we were thinking about the interviews for you boys, because we got the F3 doubleheader coming up, boys. But congratulations to all 3 of you. I'm going to start with Mark. Mate, what an awesome drive there, buddy. Yeah, unmuted. Awesome. Mate, you were right in the thick of it and held them all off. I know Callan, maybe took advantage of you there at the end, but, mate, what a great drive.
It was a fun race. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I was a bit upset with myself after race 1 where I had a stop-go penalty because I didn't slow down quick enough. But that second race was really fun, like battling with Daniel Fritz. Then, I saw Callan get past and then trying to hold Tyson off, but he was too quick down that straight. It was real fun.
Well, mate, we saw you. You were right in the thick of it, and it was happening all around you. We could just see that door-to-door action, but your car come through didn't look like it had much of a scratch on it, buddy. There's a few other cars banged up around you.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Keep my wings clean, keep the car clean, and I'm sure I'll get a good result. And then I saw on that last lap that something happened and a big gap appeared, and I'm like, that's it. I'll just cruise here.
Well, congratulations, mate, on P3 in tonight's feature race here for the TCRs. Give us a big shout out to all your sponsors and friends out there, buddies, who are giving you all that love.
Yeah, thank you to Apex Esports League and JT for running the whole league and running the team. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Pagny Advanced Simulations, Next Level Racing, Stump Grinding, Central Coast and Tree Services. Thank you all for supporting the team, and this little result shows that support's paying off and we're achieving some good results.
Awesome. Well done, Mark. I'm going to hand it over to you, Hamish, or you're doing stuff you want me to continue?
Oh, no, I can ask a question while I'm just changing over to the F3s in the background here.
That's all fine. So, Callan,
you were in the wars tonight, buddy, but what a comeback it was to come back into P2. I mean, obviously, I spoke to you last night about your victory in the AM series, but, mate, you've just found some pace now after taking that win. I mean, there's just something clicked inside, and it's kind of put you into a new gear suddenly.
oh yeah, I was on the pace tonight. I just made too many mistakes. We were speaking about that last night, and to consistency, I made a few too many mistakes. But yeah, it ended up finishing all right. It was good. I always have fun in this series. They're good fun, the TCRs.
I mean,
mate.
we saw you get the fastest lap of the whole the whole race proceedings with a 13.7, or I think it was a 13.6 even, just below the
6.9, yeah.
It was incredibly tight and close though between you and Tyson in terms of lap times. Are you hoping now that next week you can just continue this pace on and really put the pressure on him in terms of in a racing scenario having that gap nice and tight for a whole race?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm a bit disappointed in myself tonight with the mistakes I made. It would have been good to have a good battle with Tyson because we were both on the same lap time. So a bit disappointed, but yeah, absolutely. I'll do a bit of practice and we'll come back next week and give it a shot.
Now, Callan, last night, was that your maiden win for SRW, buddy?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so, man. Oh, well done, buddy. I wasn't there to fight you, but I did watch it, mate. I enjoyed it, so well done.
Thanks, man.
Give us a big shout out to your sponsors, buddy, and congratulations on your P2 tonight. We're just going to have to move it on because we've got the F3s coming up real soon.
No worries, guys. It'll be quick. Shunt Scenery, Hummerson Bakery, Jennifer Russell Real Estate, Fullmaster Bayside, Doomed Works, and Game Changer. Thank you.
Oh, well done last night, and congratulations on P2 tonight, buddy.
Thanks, lads. Have a good one.
All right. My insufferable team boss, Mr. Tyson McAvoy, are we going to have to suffer all week with a double victory from you tonight, buddy?
I wouldn't call it suffering, mate. It's called celebrating.
Yeah, it is too, buddy. No, congratulations, mate. You just had great pace in the car tonight. Now, let us in a secret, mate. Did you actually practice for this one?
No.
Bloody hell, what a spit in the face of the rest of the field. Just comes in, no practice, wins both races by almost 10 seconds. Ridiculous.
Yeah, just as I said in the post-race for race 1, fuel was kind of a thing to play with, and I say fuel in this race, and kind of used the last of the breakers skill that I had there, and cut through the field. A little contact with Leaky early, but as I said to Leak during that, I don't think there was much in it. So yeah.
Well, race control agreed with you. I think they're calling a no further action. Just one of those incidents, buddy. But mate, great pace, and you said you wanted to come in and take some points back. Dan was in the wars a bit tonight, mate, so it's going to help your championship. So you're here for the long haul?
Yeah, definitely. I'm coming to, I'm not coming here to, just win races. I want to win the championship. I've been saying it for 3 seasons now. I've been in the wrong car for the last 2, and to be in the right car now, having some pace and winning some races, it's good to see, and enjoying it out there in the TCR.
All right, buddy. Well, congratulations once again, mate. Give us a big shout out for all of the team sponsors.
Yeah, big shout out to West End Motor Group, Track Racer, Parramatta Isuzu Ute, Too Easy Finance, TOYOSIMs, CowieMusic.com, and hashtag Talk to Me, bro, our men's mental health initiative.
Awesome, buddy. Well, congratulations there. Looks like Hamish has got everything sorted, getting ready for the F3s. So we will be leaving the TCRs. Congratulations on our podium once again. Tyson McAvoy taking out both races tonight, and Mark Cochran and Callan Hodgkinson for their podium finishes in race number 2. Congratulations, guys. We will let you go now. SRWTV, we will be back soon with F3s at the Mount Panorama, the greatest track of them all. Welcome back, sim racing fans, to Sim Racing World TV. We are at Mount Panorama for round 3 of the Long Road Series here for the Formula 3s at SRW TV. An awesome track, love it, my favourite and a lot of people's favourite, and it's all thanks to our round and series sponsor TOYOSIM. It will take all the concentration of these drivers to produce a faster lap around here, commitment, and then having to deal with a dipper every single lap. It's Cow, your average sim racer here. I'm back with Hamish Munro, and mate, this is going to be awesome fun. I love this place, and watching a Formula car zoot around here is pretty exciting.
Well, ladies and gentlemen at home, I hope you are ready, because if you have not seen some of the absolute spicy carnage we've had over the last couple of weeks in the Formula 3s, well, it's about to go off here at Bathurst, Mount Panorama, because this track on a regular day has some absolutely wild and I don't want to say catastrophic, but just heavy levels of carnage throughout. And with F3s, you know, open wheels around Bathurst is sketch on a day in itself. It's gonna be we're gonna be in for some absolutely wild and just incredible viewing throughout this race here, Cowie.
Over the top of the mountain is just another thing in an open wheeler. I mean, you know, V8 supercar, you scrape the wall on the outside there as you come down past the grate. You know, sweeping into McPhillamy. Yeah, you can get away with that in the V8. You can't get away with anything in an F3 around the mountain here. Now, unfortunately, Hamish, you have to hold it for a couple of minutes, buddy. Looks like I'm going to have to reboot my PC. Won't let me into the session. I will be back soon, guys. Hamish, let them know what the track conditions are like, buddy.
No worries, mate. All good. So we've currently got a in-sim temp of about 18 degrees, 74% humidity here. A nice, clean, not too windy day out at Bathurst for this race here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. But I hope you are ready, because we are getting into qualifying right now, and these drivers are about to just do something that I think I would never, well, I don't want to say never, but would take a lot of guts to do. Push these F3 cars at full pace around the Bathurst Mount Panorama circuit. We are on board at the moment here with Scott Barton on his way towards the end of his flying lap. He's about halfway around the circuit. He's going to come over Skyline now, down through the S's and into the dipper. You can see the bumps affecting these open wheelers, and these cars are just super sketch to get around here in a fast lap. Michael Kudijar, though, is currently, well, he's on for a fast lap at the moment. He's got one purple sector as well as Scott Barton. So it's going to be interesting to see how these times compare as they cross the line. They speed all the way down the incredibly fast Conrod Straight in towards the chase here to then come round towards the end of this lap. Michael unable to actually do a green sector there, so he does a orange sector for the fifth. You see him just in behind Scott Barton now, so we'll be telling on which one of these guys takes pole at this moment in time. We are 4 minutes into this session, 11 minutes to go in this qualifying session. They do go both sub 2 minutes. Michael Kudijar does take the top of the list. Jay Dixon unable to pip Scott Barton there to a better lap time. Michael doing a 57.62, Scott Barton doing a 57.92, and Dixon doing a 57.98. I hear Cowie back in the
I'm back,
Discord.
Buddy. Just trying to load up everything, so but loving your call, buddy. And sounds like Michael Kudijar is back on pace. He was fast in the SR8s when I was racing him before. He was way faster than me, and he's just done the transition over to the F3s. Awesome, buddy, and is really showing his class and pace.
He has got some absolutely mega pace at the moment in that Formula 3 car, although Barton has bettered his session best second sector around this circuit. So these guys are trading blows at the moment. The top three separated by only 3.6 tenths, around 0.36 of a second at the moment separates the top three. 0.41 separates the top 4, and 0.43 separates the top 5. So the times are incredibly close. We've spoken about how close they can get. Kudajar there does a second best 4th sector there. Sorry to interrupt, Cowie, but we have mentioned these times they're always close, and they're only going to keep getting closer, it seems.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that, I keep forgetting that you're new to the F3s here at SRW, because I'm telling you, mate, it's like this every week.
Oh, yeah.
Where they are so close. And for some reason, it still won't let me get into the race to watch it. So it looks like I'm going to be operating off your Discord feed tonight, buddy.
That's all right. I hope that's going to work good enough for you. I mean, I normally just watch off my OBS anyway, because I have all the stuff on screen, so I can follow some of the action.
I've got a triple screen simulator here, and I love watching the action in iRacing because you get to see it all up close and personal. And when you do those on boards on an F3 when we're flying over the top of Mount Panorama, mate, it is scary and exhilarating all at the same time. So
I have to ask, if whenever I go in the cockpit for you, you just start grabbing the wheel and pretend that you're driving the lap?
Oh, not really. I'm more just loving watching the lines, and being a hack racer myself. I'm sort of interested to see how these boys are trying to sort of tackle the things. Now I could register. It's looking like probably the only way I'm going to be able to see
You might need to register then in a BMW maybe, just so then I could actually.
Yeah.
I could change it so then it doesn't actually show the race control on the timing tower, and it would just mean that your name wouldn't be on there either if you're on female.
Oh, that's a good idea. It's the only way I'm going to have to jump in, so that will do that, buddy. So yeah, the times are close as usual.
Yeah, Gallo's taking P2 here from Scott Barton at the moment, but Kudajar has actually bettered his time, gone down to a 57.24. So I mean, I know that the times are normally close between the majority of the drivers, but it's still incredible to see how close they can get, and the fact that it can also be down to the thousandth of a second can determine pole and second place, or 2 separate spots changing. Scott Barton, though, once again has betted the session best second sector on this circuit, so he is lighting it up through sector 2 at the moment, Cowie, and no one seems to be able to match him.
Well, it's the sprint round format again tonight, so it's going to be, hot at the front, and these boys then trying to have to fight their way through race number 2, mate. So it's not going to be just outright pace that's going to do it tonight. It's going to show some racecraft, and as we said before, Bathurst, Mount Panorama, it can be a mountain of pain sometimes over the top when you're trying to find your way through traffic.
I think it's going to be an incredibly difficult and challenging. I don't want to say challenging. I'm doing it again, just the double downing on the same word. Challenge. But Bathurst is just it. You have to do well at Bathurst. You have to respect this place, but to have the respect for this place, you have to be willing to push the car. You show your respect for this circuit by driving the car on its limits, but you have to respect those limits, because if you push it a little bit too hard, and when I say a little bit, it is how close the times can get in F3 a little bit. That's how close it is of going off the grip and then pushing it too hard and getting into the corner.
But you're forgetting the most important thing, buddy, because they say that the mountain chooses who wins the mountain. So not only have you got to respect the mountain, but you've got to earn the mountain's respect to walk away with the W here. So, and that means pushing at the right places, finding that pace where you can find it, and somehow, keeping it out of the walls.
I think, even through endurance racing, or even just little sprint rounds around this track, I think every time I race here, you come away with a different feeling about the circuit, or a different mindset of how you should be driving it. Each race at Mount Panorama, you could have the list of the same drivers in the same cars, and you could run 10 races. All 10 would be different. None of them would be the same. You might have a couple of similar outcomes, but they will not be exactly the same, Cowie.
Well, the thing is also if you're an Aussie or a Kiwi, what's the first car and the first track you're going to get? And I'm telling you that you're going to buy. And generally, the first track that you'll buy in iRacing will be this one if you're an Aussie or a Kiwi. It'll be Mount Panorama. I know the Kiwis are looking forward to having Fukukoe in iRacing because that was confirmed at the end of last year. So they'll have their own track as well coming up soon, hopefully. Well, they did say the second half of the year, so maybe we're going to see it, in the next season or the one after. So I'm hoping for that. But yeah, look, it's Bathurst, mate. So these guys, when you get that car and you come here, you're going to push and try it. So if there's a track for Australians that gets practiced more than Mount Panorama, I think I'd eat my socks.
Well, personally for me, I think actually the first track that I bought might have actually been Long Beach, because when I got into Class D and I wanted to do the Ferrari series in Class D, that was the track of the week that was happening.
Okay, I'll stand corrected. So the first track that you buy because you want it, not because you need it to race a series. Like I know plenty of guys out there that are pretty much mostly hop lappers that just love getting in and just trying to better their time, rather than racing people. And iRacing has a time trial thing for that, so you can get safety rating and all that through it as well. But when you've got a track that is just fun to come to and just practice and try and get your lap time down, that tells you something about the place and what it means to Aussies and Kiwis.
Yeah, for sure. You cannot change.
Or maybe I've got a little lap time board up on my wall, for everyone that jumps on my rig to do a Bathurst in the supercar. So that shows how much I love it. Let us know out there in the comments, guys, if you're a massive lover about Panorama. We don't want to hear from any haters because you guys, if you hate Bathurst, I don't know if you should be here, really.
I'm personally not a hater of Bathurst. Like, I love the circuit. I just think it is raced almost too much.
Oh, look, yeah, I agree with you there. Look, but again, this is a place that I can come to and race and not get sick of it. I love this place, and I'm sure I'm not alone. Shout out there to Jace Douglas. Howdy, Jace. I know you're a bit of an up and down in last night's race for the V8 AMs. Good to see you tuning into the TCRs and F3 broadcast. And Kevin out there saying go to Scotty. Scott Barjan. Well, Scotty, he's another man that's been in the wars, but he's had a couple of great rounds the last few weeks that have helped bring him back into things.
Yeah, it's almost like he's had like a new lease on life at the start of this season. I mean, you've been mentioning in previous races before this season he was getting in the wars a little bit, but it seems he's been honorably discharged from those wars and been allowed to just live his life at the moment in the F3 car and hope to have some good pace and then continue on. Kudajar, he has just done a fastest 5th sector, so he could actually be on for quite an impressive time, although Loretti has actually taken pole at the moment, Kelly, with a 57 dead.
The Kittens machine up there. Well, we are coming down to the end of qualifying, so that may well stand because then they're not going to get another lap in. We've only got about a minute to go. All these guys here will get a chance to finish their lap coming down through the chase at the moment, but we've got a purple sector there from Jay Dixon, but it's a couple of purples and oranges, so that might move him up. Let's have a look.
No, it hasn't moved him at all.
So perhaps maybe that one didn't count. He's had an off track in there. It's the other thing about Bathurst as well is that there's certain places where you're going to rub the wall or put the car wide a little, and it's just going to void your lap in qualifying here. But yeah, look, none of these guys are going to get a chance to finish their lap. So it looks like we might have the Kittens machine of Adrian Loretti coming away with pole for race number 1 here. Race number 3, I should say, because this is our double-double. But race number 1 of the F3s here for SRWTV.
Yeah, you are right there, Cal. It is race 3 for the night of our quad header, but it is race 1 of the F3s. Sinkovic just crossing the line as the time ran out.
Did it count?
I
think
don't
it did.
know, but he only got
think it did.
P18. So, although interesting enough, we
Oh.
have Doug Gowan's in here this week, actually, in the F3. So anyone who watches the GT3s on Friday night knows that he is a connoisseur of the fire-breathing dragon. That is the McLaren. Is it the P1? That's the GT3 car. I can't remember.
Also a TCR and also a rocket ship in the TCRs as well, but maybe can't drive them this season. But awesome to see a nice big field out there. Looks like we've got about 19 cars, yes, out for tonight's race here, and it is Adrian already for Kittens Racing, taking away the pole for the first race of tonight's sprint format round. Michael Cuttajar alongside him in P2. We know Michael is quick. Can he put it together for the entire race? Daniel Burns and David Gallo, so two more Kittens running 3 and 4. So Bathurst seems to be a home for the Pussycats. They're pretty fast. Scotty Barjan and Jay Dixon sharing row number 3 there. W Area 51 Sim Sports and Downforce Racing Machines. Robbie Griffiths, Tyson McAvoy's back for another dose of trouble in the F3s. Adam Simpson for Fishy Motorsports in P9 and Nathan Verney P10. So that is our top 10. And having a big field, it's going to be an awesome night of racing here at Mount Panorama. The car we can't see for real. These things are too fast for real. We saw the S5000s, but even then I think they governed them so they didn't hit too higher speed going down Conrod. But, you know, in the virtual world, well, all of that stuff's off limits and we can, you know, race to our heart's content, buddy.
Oh, we can, and I think we're going to be having, well, really intense race around this this Mount Panorama circuit. I'm just going to quickly bring up the tower here, see if I've actually fixed it. No, it hasn't, but we're going to get our red lights out.
Yep, it is round number 3 for our F3s. It is the home of Australian Motorsport, Bathurst, and a good start from Cuttajar. Good start from Danny as well behind him, P3. I'm going to butcher your name again tonight, Danny, so look forward to it. In P3, Doug, who's that that's got spat out?
It's Tyson McAvoy.
McAvoy. So our double race winner in the TCRs jumped into the F3s and has been spat out straight away. So we'll have to see what happened there and when we get a chance. But let's focus with the lap 1 action. And Michael Cuttajar's hung on to P2 for the moment. He's right in the middle of a big Kittens double sandwich. Scotty Barton's had a good start as well. Sorry, Barton. Apologise that the J is silent. We've been told that. But if you have... Oh, Adam Simpson's had a moment. It's just flashed up on the timing tower as well, buddy. So, and he's on the radio.
So we'll have to see if Greg Barber gets on circuit here.
Oh.
In the Promo Department safety car. Of course, Tyson is still parked up at the moment as well, so I would have to suspect we will be getting a safety car here, Kiawi. And I tell you what, Cuttajar is currently in the, well, he's in the lines den. He's surrounded by 3 kittens at the moment, and they can smell blood. They have got their prey in between them. We have got a safety car period, so we can go back and check out the replays of all the action.
It showed Danny having a moment as well, but then looks like he's okay. All right, here we go. So it's the starts of what's happened to Tyson. I think he's done it all by his lonesome. He's just gone in a bit hard, yet, and that snap oversteer's caught him. Or he's rolled back out. No, he's done well.
Everyone's done well there to avoid him on the exit. Here is Daniel Fritz's incident up into turn 2.
Oh, so he's got squeezed. Oh, and he's tagged. He's been tagged. So, I think he might have tagged Adam Simpson there. I think was the other car involved. Well, yeah, there's Adam's got caught out on that. Was Adam a part of that, or was that another car?
Yeah, no, he was a part of it. He was missing his front wing, and then he's caught the inside curb there, or the inside curve, sorry, the inside wall of Griffin's Bend.
That car's broken, and he's requested a tow. So, well, we do have a habit of seeing the safety car early in these F3s. They are a beast of a car, and when you put cold tyres on top of it, it's, and you can see there, yeah, so Danny's looped it around. Looks like, has he recovered? No, he would have lost a spot there.
comes on track. in
Oh,
the safety
or a
car.
possible jump start on the someone's got a black flag for a jump start, asking if they can get their lap back. Oh, well, plenty of action already, buddy, and we haven't even finished the lap.
No, I mean, yeah, you mentioned it. We're not even a lap into this thing, and we've already under Private Department safety car. 20 minutes is the race limit in terms of time, but it is 11 laps. Of course, we can't get a safety car when there's 5 laps left in this race, and we will probably be likely under safety car for, we'll just say at least this lap, and then it would come in on the next one, Cowie?
I think look, one of the things that will be on race control's mind is that the unfortunate guys that have had to tow and all that, like to try and see if they can at least keep the lap so they don't go a lap down. The other side of that is too, though, that they don't want the instigator and the person who's caused the incident to gain an advantage either. So look, it can be one. It's one of those varying things that race control has to consider when they make a decision, and even just a simple decision as to where the safety car comes in. The other aspect is also you don't want to take too much time out of the race, because we don't want to sit here watching these cars go around sitting behind a safety car. We want to see them battling each other.
Oh, you are 100% correct on that one. Sinkovic and Fritz now, Steven Sinkovic, I should say, and Daniel Fritz are now back out on track as well. So Matisic, McAvoy, Simpson, and Caldwell are all still in the pits at the moment. And technically they're actually positioned behind
Look at the
safety
grandpa.
car.
Look at Doug the grandpa Gowans. It was near the. He's going all right. He's up a few spots now, and right in the middle of things. Unfortunately, Danny and Adam and Tyson. So both. Danny, Adam, Simpson, Tyson, McAvoy. Looks like Keegan in there. They're all going to be at the back of the field. They're still in the pits at the moment, so I would not be surprised that race control goes another lap.
Danny Matisic is now back on track as well, so he needs to be given the opportunity to make his way back up to the back of the field.
I think these guys will have one fast repair for tonight's series, so that means if they crash again, then I don't think they've got to. They may have a second fast repair they can use in race number 2, but I don't think they do. So race control tonight, Jace, is Adam Hughes and Greg Barber are our race controllers tonight. So they're the ones with the major headaches. That's exactly the way I would see it, because I know I've had discussions with Tyson before, about incidents I've been involved with, and even other ones, and talking to him about it. And he will mention things that I didn't consider, that change my my understanding and that the way I feel about that incident. So it's definitely one thing. I know you can get hot under the collar inside the car. Safety car is doing another lap. When it happens to you, you can get a bit hot under the collar and all that. And I might have had an outburst on a radio in a prior season that gets very much frowned and shunned upon. Might have got told by Tyson last week not to talk on the radio too much either. But I'm a talker. That's why I'm here doing commentary.
I have to question this just for a second here. So the other 3 drivers are now back out on track, out of the pits. I don't think they're a lap down though on the safety car, or on the leaders at the moment, because I think they've actually made it out before they've come round at the end of the lap. But they need to finish their first lap for it to be determined. But these guys need to push now, especially if they're going to go green at the end of this lap, Cowie.
Well, the other thing that, the advantage that they will have is that their tyres will be much more up to 10th in the field. But as you said, it's that distance you've got to close. And, I'm sure those guys are already at race pace as they're trying to catch up to the field. So
yeah, they're on the lead lap now. So they were not a lap down, luckily for them. So Adam Simpson, Keegan Caldwell, and Tyson McAvoy will all make their way up towards the end of the train. They should make the end of the train, I would say, by about the dipper. If not,
still got a bit of, Adam Simpson's still got a few seconds to catch up there, and so's Keegan and Tyson. But yeah, I think you're right. I think safety cars, maybe keeping that in mind. Jace, yes, I will be racing on Sunday, buddy. Yeah, I had a gig yesterday for for Anzac Day. Awesome day with my duo, but yeah, just couldn't get home in time. I made it home to watch race number 2, and it was awesome action watching you guys slide around there at Virginia. But yeah, would have loved to have been there, buddy. It was I like that track. Don't know if I'm super quick at it, but I do like it. All right, buddy. Well, I'm sure that the safety car will be going in this lap.
I reckon
Bunching it back up, buddy, and it's going to be exciting, mate.
I reckon, and this is just a thing maybe that when people watch this back, especially from SRW, when they watch this race back, they'll hear this as a nice little what's it called, idea for them. So the safety car driver should be forced to drive around on the laps that the safety car is supposed to be out with his finger on the flash button. So the headlights flash on the car. When the safety car is going to come in, they let go of the flash button. So we know when it's actually going to come in.
That's normally what happens, I believe. So he had it the flashing the light the lap before, and then he turned it off for this lap.
Okay.
I think I've got that out on the control. But see, what you do is you buy a indicator system that you can get for your simulator, like I've got, which has got lights and wipers and everything all plugged into it. So I just turn the lights on.
Yeah.
Turn them on to flash. So you don't have to hold the button down.
Yeah. So we
all right, so we're
ready
about to go green,
again.
buddy. Yeah. Okay, so how is Adrian going to play this? Oh, I thought he was going to go then, but he held it up. So I'd say he'll probably wait for last corner.
Yeah,
See
I
Michael
reckon
Cutter, he's getting ready to see it and pounce. He's also holding it inside.
Though.
Well, I think he's just making sure that the boys behind don't get a run on him, because the issue that he's got is he's got a 3-on-1 incident going on there, because I'm sure that those 3 kittens are all in the same chat. So Adrian was talking them through when he was going to go, and Michael he's done really well to hang on to that, I reckon. So
yeah,
that's awesome. But already under pressure for Daniel Byrne, driver 808. He's got his own YouTube channel. Check him out, guys. Looks like he's going up the outside, but Michael's still got enough of a nose up there to hold the inside run, has he? No. Look at that. Daniel's got it done around the outside, so I suppose the team tactics did work there. And now we'll have to see if David Gallo can get amongst it as well. So that's another kitten right in the hunt there. So there's a few of them out there tonight.
Oh, they're all fighting hard here to try and get a top 3 sort of kittens controlled podium. A couple of cars have had an incident. We'll see if we can get a replay up for you of Daniel Matisic and Steven Sinkovic. We might just see how these guys just level out a little bit, and then we'll go have a bit of a look at that replay. But looking a little bit fairly tidy here, Cowie. I think the red mist is kind of dispersed now, and these guys have decided, let's actually be a little bit more calm and collective.
Probably a little bit more heat in the tyres at this point as well, buddy. So that would help them too. Even under the safety car, they would have been able to get a little bit of heat into the tyres.
So Keegan Caldwell also had an incident. So as they make their way down the straight, we'll see if Michael Cuttajar can get a move done. He backs out of it on Daniel Byrne ahead of him. Or it appeared that Daniel was going to go for the coverage on the inside, and it made Michael just be a little bit smarter and just wait in the wings here to get a better opportunity at a pass done.
This is hard, man. I've been in this situation where you've got, a teammates working you over. Michael's, in the middle here, and he's doing a great job here, but when you've got, I'm not saying that the Kittens boys are going to do anything dirty, but just having that communication, and, David can let Daniel know if Michael gets a run on him, those sort of things. And it looks like Daniel Byrne sweeping around the inside. Is that a little change of position there? It looks like Adrian's probably letting through, realise that Daniel's got the pace. No, Adrian put it on pole, so that's an interesting one. Or Adrian's struggling here. Adrian's struggling because... Michael Cuttajar's right on him at the moment, so something's happened. Has Adrian picked up a bit of damage and clipped the wall somewhere? Maybe a bit of diffuse damage. Have a look at the rear of the car, if we can. Because if that diffuser gets upbent a little bit, that can really cost you lap speed as well. Maybe Adrian's the better defensive driver.
Maybe.
That looks pretty good there. But I think we're seeing, team tactics at play here at the moment. And look, it's a part of racing and I love it. Phil Vella, where are you, Phil? Go Dixon. Well, I thought he said you were going to maybe make it back this week, but you're still out. So for the uninitiated, Phil Vella was our runaway series champion for the last season. I think he won just about every race, I think it was. Maybe missed a couple of the sprint races. But, there's a few cars in the pits there already. So perhaps, are they not using their fast repair, or maybe they're damaged again? Wow. Well, that is interesting. Oh, Adam Simpson has been given a black flag for that incident on, it's for contact on lap number 4. I think it was lap 1, wasn't it?
We got it on screen now. That's the incident there.
Okay. Oh. What happened there?
He's come up the rear end.
That's a lot of pace through that section, I think. Just going in way too hot. But yeah, so Phil Vella, where are you supposed to be here, Phil? So yeah, there was a little, might have been an initial bump that's turned that worse there, but I think, if you've only got one fast repair for the night, you don't want to be using it up in race number 1 if you can avoid it.
No, especially since we're only
And look,
5
Adrian
minutes.
Loretti's back in front.
He is, so I think maybe Daniel's let him go here. I don't think we're not going to get the full 11 laps in this race.
They are double teaming Michael Cuttajar here, behind and in front. So yeah, maybe you're right.
It's tough for Michael here. He's got no one to help him out. He kind of needs Jay just to have a bit of pity on him and be like, "Oh, you stop bullying one of your competitors," But it's
well, Jimmy Dixon now right on the back of this hunt now too, buddy. So maybe he can start to put a bit of pressure on David Gallo, and that'll. Michael's got a great run here. He's coming down towards the chase. He's going to put it up alongside Daniel Byrne.
Too
Kenny
wide
out.
coming through.
Daniel here. He's gone deep. And he swept around the outside. What a great move from Michael Cuttajar. Got it done around the outside. Just trusted the grip. And it's one of the things with these cars. I went through there once in the SR8 and outbroke myself. And I turned into the car stuck. And I went, what? And that's what it can be like in these F3s when you stick it around the outside and you just trust that it's got grip and it's got it, and that's what Michael did, and he pulled off a great move. Though Daniel Byrne not ready to give this one up. Got David Gallo behind him, Jay Dixon. This is a 5 or 4-way battle for P2 as Adrian Larety's now skipped about a second and a bit out front. Daniel Byrne looking to go up the inside. Michael's gone wide. He's run off a bit of speed there. That's going to bring David Gallo through as well. And David Gallo trying to go on the outside. So Michael had to cut that off and shut that move down. He did that. Woo. Okay, all right. Phil Vella said he's taking a break, recharging the batteries. Awesome, man. Well, we look forward to seeing you come back. But I suppose, sometimes you can put a lot into this virtual motorsport that we love, and you've got to give time for other things. You've got to live life.
The pressure is coming at all angles right now for Michael Cuttajar. Bit of smoke there down the dip. I think someone might have had a bit of a lock-up. But Cuttajar right now, he's under more pressure than a boiler room in the back of a sports stadium, Cowie. He's having to defend at all angles yet attack at the same time. He's got fast drivers just slowly approaching him in Dixon and Griffiths, and he's surrounded by a bunch of kittens in the lion's den at the moment. He's under all sorts of pressure right now as he goes to the move around the outside again.
Dixon making a move on David Gallo there in the background as well, so that was a great move from him as well. Both kittens, one kitten getting up and the other one going down. But Daniel Byrne with keeping this battle nice and strong, and Michael Cullager, well, he'd be probably thankful that it's Jay behind him now, and he doesn't have kittens everywhere. He can focus on the one in front.
Kittens are beginning to spread out a little bit now. They're almost just
Breeding
falling out of
rabbits,
their
I
own
thought
toe. Look at them
Well,
find
you
the
had to
top
put-
the straight then.
You had the opportunity to say breeding like rabbits, man. You've been
Oh,
coming up with
true.
these good ones.
True.
Boiler room and that, so you missed the easy one. All right, Michael Cullager making a move up the inside as we go into Griffins, and he's got looks like
He hasn't been able to make it stick there. He's kind of backed out of it.
all right. Is that another penalty issued there? Or maybe ask for a redress? I missed that with what race control said. Oh, Kevin going a bit deep, struggling a little bit tonight in that, but still running in P12. So there's a. I was looking up at the time again. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 casualties already, and Dean Sinkovich is a couple of minutes down with a penalty. Oh no, he doesn't have a penalty, so he's had damage as well because he's a lap down. So there's been quite a bit of carnage already tonight's race. I think we might be on the last lap too, buddy. So
Yeah, I believe we are.
oh, actually, he's just looped it into the cutting. Yep, and just hit the fence. All right, so let's keep an eye out on the front here. This battle pack for P2. Michael Cullager making a move through the kink. He's out broke. Daniel Byrne to the light before, gone around the outside. Well, he's held it again.
Was
That
almost
seems
like
to
an
be
action
the
replay
spot
there,
is.
Cowie. He's done
Oh.
that exactly how he did it
Oh,
before.
look
And
at
look
this
at
guy.
Dixon.
Jackson's in that. David Gallo. He's got his wings out as well. He's got up the inside. There's that Robbie Griffiths for Fishy Motorsports getting involved as well. So this is a final lap. Absolute door banger.
And look at who's there. It's one of the other
Oh.
kittens.
Oh, is that can't be strategic.
I don't know.
No.
But that is Danny Matisic.
I think Danny will get out of the way and
He
everyone
has.
through. Yep.
He's
Yeah,
let
he's
them
getting out of
through,
the way.
so that was a
Yep.
nice gesture by him. So no team orders. We are on the final lap now, Cowie. I did mention
Adrian
we weren't
Lorenzi's
gonna
got
get
about a
away.
1.4 second gap over Michael Cullager, but Michael was breaking out a little bit of a gap. Daniel Byrne has been fighting him hard and trying to use up those tyres, but looks like Michael's got something left in him. Well, hopefully Michael's got a mic sorted, because we keep trying to get him into commentary and he hasn't had a mic sorted for a while now. We'd love to have a chat to him and get his perspective on the racing. But once again, right in the thick of things. Yeah, I want to see how he takes the dipper, man. I've got to learn this. Gentle, very gentle.
Nice
That
and
was expected.
smooth.
That's it. And very straight line too. You can see what he did. He did not try to turn over hard from the left. Almost sort of mid-tracked it through there. That's something to keep in mind. But alright, he's got a little bit of a gap here. Daniel Byrne in the toe, but can he make a lunge down into the chase? He's getting close. No, just not far enough, so he's focusing on the exit. One last opportunity here, but it looks like it is going to be a Kittens race win as Adrian Lerty comes around Murray's the final turn to come over the line to take victory. Oh, the back marker getting out of the road there, putting it into the wall, I think, to do so. And a great fight there from Michael Cullager to hold on to P2 over Daniel Byrne in P3. Wow, what a great battle at the front, mate. We barely got to watch the rest of the field because these guys were fighting the whole race.
Can I just to re-jog my memory a little bit, is it also at our top 10 reverse grid for this
It
race as well?
certainly is, my friend.
Well,
it does
then.
say in the 10.
Look who it puts on pole. It's Grandpa Doug Gowan. So he starts from the
nice.
back of the field, gets up into 10th, 11 positions gained in that race, and he will now start on pole for the feature here, Cowie.
Yeah, no pressure, Doug. the Velocity Sim lab machine there. Well, we'll get to see that, plenty of that from race number 2. But wow, man, what a great race. I mean, like the F3s, they do bring out a great show. The times are so close. The guys are battling so hard, and you can just see, Bathurst is a track that I'm sure all of these guys, before they even thought about racing here, they bought this track to try out, but this car on it, and you can just see that. In pretty much the entire field, just the practice that they put in here, that they're all able to drive it. Oh, no. There's a SRW roadblock there as he came around the corner.
I had to go back to that one there. I just wanted to see if it was actually Steven's fault that Kevin got an incident, but Dean's fault. Sorry, it was actually Dean who had the spin at the cutting. But we await everyone now to make their way into the pits, so then we can bring up
our race. So we can get our race 1 winner, Adrian, already into the comms. So keep an eye out there as well, buddy. But yeah, no, what a cracker! I do love watching the F3s, and I generally got to be careful when I've got a gig the following day, otherwise I'll lose my voice.
It's always one to keep under control. I mean, I've always got to try and control my voice, since I do at least 3 broadcasts a week. Sometimes it's 4. This past week it was actually 5 because I did last night's as well. So, but we will get your results up quickly now for the race. You can see they're already taking the victory over Kudajar with Byrne in P3. Don't worry about Adam Hughes at the bottom there. He was our safety car driver for that race. He's only classified.
I wouldn't worry about the other name that might have appeared down there too, because remember I did have to join rather than watch.
Yeah.
So I do apologise there, guys.
There you are.
I'm sure I had to see my name up in lights, so just being a bit selfish.
So we await them all to go through.
Yeah, you do have Adrian already in the green room, buddy. So let's bring him down for a quick chat. Adrian, seeing a kitten up on P1, buddy. Well done. About time.
About time, exactly.
So what was going on there? Did you let Dan through and then he had no pace and you said no, give it back?
Well, I'm a little bit quicker than him, and we'll trialing and seeing, because Kudajar he's quick, and we'll trying to keep him behind us. But
so how much coordination was there on that restart between you boys? Because
there was a big countdown. but he's smart and he took the inside line cover. So, but no, it was good. It was really good.
Fun race. Shenanigans, buddy, and made it exciting. But yeah, look, you had some great pace and run away with it in the end. What a big whole half a second in front.
Yeah,
close racing.
I was watching the relatives and listened to Daniel behind me. So that was good. It was good fun.
Oh man, well we've only got about 2 or 3 minutes left, so we won't keep you for too long. But I will ask you, was this the first track you bought, because you wanted it, not because you're just racing a series?
It probably was, to be honest.
Yeah.
I do enjoy it. I do like the track. I've always sort of been fairly quick here. It's just
awesome, man. Well,
yeah, it's a good track.
Certainly shows. Winner for race number 1. Now you're going to fight your way through the field, mate. Is that a daunting task?
We'll see. I don't know who's in front, so we'll see. Hopefully it's pretty clean.
I think it's a grandpa on P1, mate. Grandpa Doug Gowans starting from the back and putting it on P1 for the second race. But look, congratulations, mate. Give us your sponsors a quick shout out, and then we'll let you go because you've probably only got about a couple of minutes to get ready for race number 2.
No dramas. Yeah, so shout out to Kittens, to AML Technology, and to Driver 808 on YouTube.
Hamish, you got anything for him before we let him go?
Oh, mate, I think it was a solid performance there. Just great off the start line, obviously, and just controlled the race throughout. I think you were fair. You feel lucky having your teammates in the den with Michael and yourself, just kind of helping protect each other throughout the whole race proceedings there.
It definitely helps. So when they battle each other, it gives me that little buffer. So Daniel even mentioned that. He goes, if we battle, we're gonna lose you. So that's sort of what happened, and now he just stuck with it. So it was good.
Oh, very good, mate. Congratulations on the heat race victory there, and we'll hopefully we
Like
can
race
see
number 2.
some great chasing through the field in the feature tonight.
All good. Hopefully we can do it again in the second one.
No worries,
Luck,
mate.
buddy.
Thanks.
Awesome. Well, so we've got maybe about a minute to catch our breath here, buddy. This double header of ours, when it's a double header, it's just getting crazier and crazier. But what's some great action in the TCRs in both races, and now the F3s. You know, they just live up to their hype, don't they?
I think the track and car combinations tonight have been off the chain, Cowie. I mean, Sebring and TCRs were pretty good, but I think F3s and Mount Panorama, you know, you get two carnage ensuers in a car that brings in carnage, and in a track that attracts carnage. You put them together, and it's a classic tale of Cletus Cassidy going to town on New York City. I mean, it is just destruction upon destruction, but it is great viewing for us as broadcasters as well as the viewers at home, and it just makes for some incredibly exciting racing.
Mate, it's the thing that we love to see here. So, you know, it's like this track, I love it. And, you know, watching the F3s around here, I love driving anything around here, but these F3s, with these guys being so close, and I mean, we are seeing just the week after week, the times in qualifying are hundreds. I know last year, we had at least 2 or 3 dead heats, like down to the thousands. So it's close, mate. And here we go. This is our grid up for the reverse top 10 race number 2, our feature race for tonight. And it is Doug Gowans for Velocity Sim Labs that will lead the pack away. Robbie Griffiths for Fishy Motorsports. Well, Robbie, new to our F3 series, he came in with a big bang in race number 1 and then crashed and burned race number 2, round number 2. So he's back and he's up the front ready to take the fight. Nathan Verney for Locked On Racing. He's had a good race. And Scotty Barger, well, Scotty, we didn't get to talk much about you tonight, buddy, but great to see you up near the front to battle for this second race. Brad Hudson, another guy we haven't really seen much of for JWM Motorsports in P5. David Gallo for Kittens, and then we've got Jay Dixon, Daniel Byrne, Michael Carter-Jar, and Adrian Loretti rounding out our top 10. Tyson McAvoy, P11, Michael Fowles P12. So those boys are doing all right, but I can hear the grid coming up, buddy. We better be watching the front start. Here we go. As race number 2 is off and running. Bit of smoke in the background there and some dodging by, I think that was Adam Simpson, one of the fishing machines. But it's a clean getaway by Doug Gowans and Robbie Griffiths. Nathan Booth's guy, who's that's been turned around? I think it's Jay Dixon.
It's Jay Dixon.
Yeah, the downforce race machine's been turned around. Have to see if there's any damage there. Robbie Griffiths immediately making a play for the lead of the motor race, so he's not wasting any time. And Doug, I don't think... Oh, no!
Oh,
Doug!
big contact!
Oh, no! Doug, Grandpa, what happened there? Oh, that's a broken car, and looks like that's also hurt Robbie Griffiths as well, because he's ploughing back down the field as well. We're talking damaged cars, and now Nathan Burney and Scott Bargen battling for the lead. David Gallo right behind them. Lap number 1 at Bathurst and F3s just seems to bring just a whole nother level of excitement, incidents, drama, the works.
It is just a...
Oh no! Who's that in Nathan Burney? No, not Nathan Burney, that was
Scott Barton.
Scott Bargen into the fence, the Area 51 Sim Sports machine. Oh, they are falling, dropping like flies, buddy. What's happened here? His size caught a bit of the curb there and couldn't slow the car up. You're already on the limit. Cold tyres. Oh, and that's going to be horrible. Is that a safety car in a tow? We'll have to keep an ear out for what race control, if race control's got anything to say. So far it seems quiet on the chat.
Yeah, I don't see any safety car on track, and I don't think he actually towed.
David Gallo, oh, rattling hard. Tyson McAvoy up into P5 at the moment, making a move on Bradley Hudson, goes into P4. Michael Carter in the mix there as well, and it looks like he's got both of them. Oh, what's happened to Tyson? He's plummeted down. And Doug Gowans has had a moment as well, has he? He's coming to the pits. Yeah,
that'll be off the turn 2 incident.
So Tyson's just looped it. Gone in too hard and looped it. Looks like he has got away without some damage there, but may have something to answer to race control for. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Oh, looks like, is that the Kittens machines? A bit of a double team on Nathan Burney there. That was David Gallo getting through and also helping keeping that door open so that Daniel Byrne could go through as well. So, I mean, look, it is the advantage of having your teammates out there and having quick teammates as well.
I think this kind of just lends itself well to drivers having to convince their teammates to come and race with them because they keep on getting bullied by other teams. But we're going to be on here for some incredible action. I mean, we've already had incredible action so far over the last lap and a half, Cowie. Oh, you see a big lock up there from Burn into the dipper.
Dave Coleman seems... Shout out to Dave out there, one of the Fishy Motorsports machine, too quick for me in a V8 supercar. Just a shout out saying maybe you think it was a budge or a glitch because he sort of went a little bit straight there. Yeah, could be right there too, buddy. Unfortunately, technical gremlins, I suppose, are just a part of motorsport, be it virtual or real life.
Had a moment here coming up towards the cutting. Oh, and he's just looped it once again. That is 2 races in a row. He's done it there. But we now go back with the leader of this race, David Gallo, who leads his teammate Daniel Byrne, and then Nathan Verney in P3. Michael Cuttajar, though, still in a great position after this start of this race. He's now up into P4. And look at the gap that he has back to last race winner Adrian Loretti there in P5.
Already putting the pressure on Nathan Burney with a run up the outside. I think Nathan's just going to get out of this. Yeah, didn't even... I think Nathan probably realises those boys are a bit too quick for him. He will battle, but once they've got your number, then there's probably no point really fighting to the death and hanging on tooth and nail.
I think, smart racing to know when the fastest guys are around you, just to let them go. Because no point putting up too much of a battle when they might make a mistake and you get the position back anyway.
Right, so Dave Coleman saying he thinks maybe Griffo had the issue and his car went straight. Okay, I see what you're saying, buddy. We might try and have a look at that incident again when we get a chance, but plenty of action out here on track. We are 5 minutes in to our feature race here, 40 minutes around Mount Panorama, and it's all thanks to our series sponsor, TOYOSIM. Big thanks for them coming on board and supporting our Wednesday night double header. All right, so what are we having a look at here, buddy?
Robbie Griffiths and Doug Gowan's incident, lap 1, turn 2, sorry. Yeah, it just looks like he hasn't been able to pull it up. And he's just gone straight into the side of Grandpa there into turn 2, so yeah, I don't know. That was a weird one.
Yeah, well, possibly technical gremlin there. I'm sure Dave's probably in the room talking with the boys, so sounds like he's got a bit more insight into what happened there than us, but that is pretty unfortunate. What can you do? When the gremlins hit you, I suppose.
Adam Simpson still in the wars, it seems.
Oh, he's just lit it up a little bit there. That's that trust thing that we're talking about, and just over trusting the car a little bit more. Shredder 89X saying this is some good racing. I totally agree with you, buddy. It is awesome stuff to watch. F3s fly around Mount Panorama. Look at this double two-way action there as Daniel Byrne trying to make a move back on Michael Carter. I think Michael must have got past him, and he's held on to it, Michael. So great drive there. Now up into P2, our P2 finisher in race number 1. Now chasing down a different kitten this time, but this is where the battle is. We were watching them all last race, and now Daniel Byrne deciding it's time to really put the hammer down and put the pressure on Michael as well. So these boys really enjoying themselves, I reckon.
Well, he's really got to try and mitigate the pressure that Katajar can put on on Daniel's teammate ahead. Of course, we saw the three Kittens cars surrounding Michael in race 1 up in the top 4.
Got a nice close battle going on between Tyson McAvoy and Michael Fowlson as well, back for P7 and P8 as well. This is getting close. And oh, Tyson right on the back of him there. Michael's avoided the wall then. I thought he almost was going to, lock it up there and end up tagging the wall on the outside. And you can see Jay Dixon recovering. Hasn't pitted, so it looks like that spin didn't hurt the car too much. Though he's had to work his way a long way back to this point, and still plenty of work to do for the Downforce Racing machine.
Look at
Tyson
McAvoy
got
down
up
the inside.
And nicely done. Michael tried to get the switch back there, but Tyson closed the door, and he's now going to hold the inside line into Murray's. And, Michael's going to have to yield that. That nice move from Tyson. So just bringing a bit of confidence from the TCR double victory tonight into this F3 race. I know, again, not practicing. I don't know if there's any more extremes you could go to in two different cars to race, buddy, than TCRs and F3s on the same night.
I'd say the only thing more extreme would be driving Pro 4 trucks as well, doing a bit of dirt road racing. That'd probably be the only bigger extreme that you could find. But Tyson's had some fair. He had some.
Tyson slipped a bit wide there. Jay Dixon almost got a run of him coming up into the cutting. With a much cleaner car, he got the nice move there done on Michael. But Jay Dixon is one of the front runners here, fighting his way back. Man, I can't see any damage on that Downforce Racing machine. Rear diffuser looks fine at least. So, look at that. Look at the confidence as he come over the top of the mountain there through the grate. And he's going to go up the Indioi. Faked a little move there. Tyson just driving his race. Straight line.
He just wants to put a bit of pressure on Tyson ahead. He wants to remind him, hey, I'm here. I've won multiple races this season. I'm one of the fast guys out here. And look at that. It's already forcing little mistakes here from Tyson. A bit of a lock-up into Forest Elbow coming on to Conrod Straight there. We have to see here what the toe does for Jay Dixon and if he can get a dive done down the inside into the chase here, Cowie.
Well, Jay is our current series leader at the moment, has a 39. Oh, that was close there. Tyson really only just giving him just enough room. Jay's tried to go around the outside, a la what we saw Michael Katajar do in race number 1. But just a little bit too wide on the grass. He's had to get out of it. And now Michael Fowlson going around him as well. So this is some awesome battling here as we look back in the pack. Race number 1, all we got to look at was the front. It's the boys, in that mid-pack providing the battle now, buddy.
Go back as well, check out Matisic and Griffiths in a bit of a fight. We see Daniel Fritz just in behind them having a bit of a front row view of this little Kitten versus Piranha battle that is starting to occur for P11 in this race. They've got Adam Simpson just ahead of them though, but he's currently leaving his little Piranha in the fish tank friend behind, getting attacked by the cat. The videos of cats just swiping their paw into the fish tank. Well, that's currently what's been happening with Robbie and Danny here, but Robbie's gotten the move done and gone up into P11.
Well, I did see a call out there before from Steve Tompkins saying, for Hutto, Brad Hudson having a good run at the moment, or is he running P6 at the moment? Brad might have given me a bit of a shout out before tonight's racing with a few talking points for me. Can Dixon extend the lead? Does the return of Katajar and Gallo straight to the top of the timing ladder? Barjan, does he get redemption this week? We've also got the Cadwell debut and the AM close at the top, so looking at points for an AM class that will be come in after I think round 3, so maybe for next round we should have the Pro and the AM separated. So he thinks it's pretty close between Brad Hudson, Robbie Griffiths and Michael Fowlson. Only was that 10 from first to second and 2 points back to Michael Fowlson in third. So we're going to soon have a battle within, you know, 2 battles in the same track, buddy, same race.
I like how Brad Hudson thinks he needs to give us content, Cowie.
Well, the boys have been doing them before. The Kittens boys have probably run out of things to tell me now.
Yeah.
Because they used to give me a bit of goss each week. And then the Alpha Venturi boys, I know we don't have any of them here this season. I did, speaking to Steven Sinkovic about this, and he said that the Alpha boys they're mostly all students, and they're all back at school and that, and sort of can't dedicate the time to race, so they've taken the season off. So we hopefully will have all of those Alpha Venturi boys back soon, but we do miss them, because that was another team of like 5 or 6 cars that were really taking the fight to the Kittens, and in fact I think they trumped the Kittens last season. So so we're probably missing a few drivers just because of real life commitments.
Look at the gap and how much it's shrunk now, Cowie. It's now 0.3 of a second between Katajar and Gallo in P1. This is the battle for the lead, ladies and gentlemen. This is the battle for the victory at the moment. We are only 7 laps in, 13 minutes into the session. Of course, we are 40-minute time
lock
limited.
up there from Gallo. Well, I think Michael will be happy that he's got a couple of seconds over Daniel Byrne behind him, so he can just concentrate on one cat at a time. You got to pluck your kittens one at a time, don't you?
Incident involving cars 87 and car 060, lap 1, turn 2, no further action. So they have determined that the incident between Griffo and Gowans as a racing incident here, Cowie.
Yeah, so those things, I think Fritzy was moving around there in that incident as well. There was quite a bit going on, and someone's missing a rear wing there. Who's that?
I believe that might have been...
Is that Keegan? It's Keegan, I think.
No.
And it's the Sinkovic that decides to spin. He's done well to get off the inside line there at Griffin's. At the dipper. But that is what I'm talking about, the dipper. That rear of the car, it wants to snap on me every lap. So, although we do refer to the Spinovich boys and give them a bit of curry, which they're happy with, in Stephen's defence, that is a spot that happens to, most of us.
It's quite commendable, actually, that they're willing to take as much flack as what we give them every week. I mean, I've had no complaints yet about any of the comments, and I'm waiting. I'm trying to see what's the boundaries we can push here on the comments regarding the
look. I don't think we're walking anywhere near a realm of boundaries. When I make mistakes, the boys pay me out of it. I might have, I pay myself out on them too. And when I put it into the wall coming out of the pits in the last race of the last season, when I, could have had an easy win. We're all open for roasting, and I suppose, being a public, figure here at SRWTV, Hamish, you've opened yourself out to it, buddy. So once you're jumping in and let us know which series you're racing, we'll make sure that there's one of us on here to roast you about it.
There's no series that's currently offered that I actually want to race in, Cowie, I'm going to be honest.
All right, well,
the only ones I'd want to race in I commentate for, so it's a bit hard, but unless there's like a Pro 4 championship that starts up, then it's not likely at the moment, I'm going to be honest.
Well, I know these boys were hassling me last season. Reckon I should jump in and have a race of these things. But I love talking about them too, and watching these guys race. Like I'd be mid-pack to be best. In a car like this, and
I'm more of a fan of the it's known as the Formula 3.5 on iRacing, but it's the Formula 2 car. I'm a bigger fan of that one over the Formula 3, but
I know that the F3s get some pretty good participation for the officials as well. So it definitely is one of those tracks, that has, one of those cars that has picked up in popularity, across the whole iRacing. I know we love it here. I mean, every week, mate, we can't stop talking about the action. Jay Dixon now is really close to Tyson, buddy. If we have a look back at that battle, he's putting the pressure on. So, Tyson's run wide. Has he clipped the wall then? I don't know. But he's done well to hang out in front, using every ounce of track there, and maybe then some. and he's carried the speed around. So, Jay's making his intentions known, but at the moment, has hit a bit of a brick wall in the performance sim racing machine in front of him.
Driver penalty has been awarded to Danny Matisich for an incident. I believe it was involving car. Might have been 07. I can't remember now. The pop-up's gone away on stream. So, but the important thing to remember is that Danny is the one who has been given a penalty. I just can't remember for the life of me what it was for.
I'll see if I can see anything in the RC chat with the boys. I can't see anything there at the moment. If you're listening, racing control, there we go. Drive the penalty, contact with car 20 on lap 7. That's car 3. No, that's a car 3 penalty. That's a different penalty, isn't it?
That's Danny Madison.
That is Danny. That is Danny. So that was for contact with Daniel Fritz.
Yeah.
Okay, and Fritzy languishing back there in P18. Almost a minute behind the leaders. So definitely. Right, Tyson coming in for a pit stop, I would say. So about halfway into this race, so I'm gathering these guys are going to be able to do it in one stop. So it'll be interesting to see, who goes to the end, runs it dry, who maybe takes an early stop to have warm tyres towards the end. Bit of a moment there that was Brad Hudson, wasn't it?
Yes, it was coming into the final corner.
Yeah.
Very, very easy to do on that corner. You just overcook it a little bit and have a nice little pirouette for the fans.
It's this car, mate.
I don't even think it's just this car. I've had many moments in a GT car in that final corner. You hook the inside curb or you turn in too early, and the rear end just likes to have a bit of a conversation with the wall on exit. So. But Katajar now, he's taken the lead here from Gallo Cowie, and he's on for quite an impressive victory today. If he can keep the pace up that he's currently got now, we are 11 laps away from the end, 11 minutes from the end of the time certain area, so that should be 21 minutes.
Yeah, coming up to about halfway at the moment, so it's looking like we're going to go close to fitting in the full 21 laps at the moment.
I'd say if we get a safety car, we won't.
Of course, but at the moment, I think, the dramas with this car is the cold tyres, and it is really an art form to be fast early on in the race. Tyson McAvoy's had a crash, and I think that's a call for a tow, so you did mention the dreaded SC word, buddy, and here it is, and that's... I think Tyson's might have had a hardware failure there, because look at that wheel still going. That's a hardware failure, I think. Because as he was coming up, his car just went left. Can we go back and have a look at that on board?
Yeah, we can. I'm setting it up now.
Alright, so I'm just wondering if there's a hard left. It's just jinked on him. But was there a hard left on the steering wheel? Can we just...
Let's have a look.
Have a look at the steering wheel? Yeah, because if there's a hard left on it, that's like a disconnect. Oh, no. I think maybe just the bounce and bump of the car. Yeah. But that's horrible. And, well, you did ask for a safety car. Well, you mentioned it. But when you mention the safety car, that means you're asking for it, Hamish. So we're going to see all these guys pit now. And it'll be probably around a 15-18 lap minute race to the finish with them all bunched up again.
I only request safety cars because it adds spice.
F3s don't need spice, buddy. They've got their own Cajun in the mix, mate. So Jet agrees with me. Good field here. That's it.
They need more jalapeno or more sriracha added in. That's what they need.
Yeah, you want to throw in like the hottest peppers that there are. Let's really spice it up.
Exactly.
We can do a reverse top 10. How is that not spicing it up? And we've seen, at the moment, it's Michael Katajar, P2 in race number 1, and he's brought it home. There was a bit of a moment there from Keegan, getting a bit loose coming into Forest Elbow. But yeah, he's taken it from P9 to P1. Adrian Loretti's up in P5 from P10. So, and you know, who else has made David Gallows up 4, Daniel Burns up 5. A lot of this will be a result of Nathan and you know, a couple of the other boys injured. Scotty Barjan down 8. Grandpa Doug Gowan's down 12. Ouch. Those boys really getting hurt there. Perhaps this safety car gives them a chance to get back in the hunt as well. And Michael Carter coming out in front of Dean Sinkovic, who pitted back on lap 3. So he might have, if it's only a little bit of a splash to get home, Stephen actually might have enough to get this car home, and he's put himself in the mix. Oh no, or is he
he's a lap down? He'll get his lap down. He'll get his lap back, and then
yeah. Race control just talking about that now, giving him his lap back. So, all right. But yes, looks like the entire field coming into the pits. No really big outlier pit stops except for Dean Sinkovic with a 48-second pit stop. So he's probably forgot to turn his tyres off, I'd say, because everyone else around that 4 to 5 second range.
Yeah, I'd say he's definitely, he hasn't dropped the fuel level and he hasn't turned off his tyres. No, he pitted on lap 2, so I think he might have actually pit him for a bit of fixing up of some damage.
Well, if he would have had his fast repair, so I'd say he's gone in there, forgotten to put tyres off, and he's ended up with a 40-second stop. That may well bring him into the 4 a little bit in the back of the field there, because he'll have fresher tyres than a lot of these other guys. These guys have been pushing pretty hard. This cool down under the safety car will give these tyres a little bit more life, so that's always going to be handy. But you know, bit of a tyre advantage, although he's a fair way back, but that might spell a bit of doom for his brother, who's currently 3 spots in front of him, currently winning the Sinkovic War.
Oh, they've kind of been, I think, was it Dino? I think it was actually Dino actually out-finished Stephen in race 1.
Got him in race 1.
F3, and I believe Dean actually out-finished Stephen in both the TCR races.
No,
so
Stephen got race 1. Dean got race 2, so okay. Dean got up race 2.
So they're equal at the moment.
But Dean's got race 1, so and Stephen's got race 2. So yeah, there'll be a dead heat if it finishes as it is. Well, that's going to make it spicy for the review show.
There'll be count back for qualifying then.
Count back, okay. Yeah. For the Sinkovic War.
Yeah.
We have a look at the front of the safety car. Are those lights flashing? I don't think they are. So I might just keep an ear out on the radio.
He would have pulled away by now. If he was going to be pulling away, so I don't think he has been driving around with his hand on the button. He went.
We've still got.
He went like halfway up Conrod last time. It was as they came round the sort of little kink at the top of Conrod. That was when he went. Let me see. Oh, sorry, big yawn there. Let me see where he is. Yeah, no, he hasn't pulled away yet, so I reckon we got one more lap under safety car, and then it will be a straight or 5-lap dash to the end, Cowie?
Yeah, well, it's about a 2-minute lap here for these guys. Several of them getting their best times were well under 2 minutes. 156s and 157s. That's crazy. But yeah, look, so we've got 14 minutes left now. That's 7 laps at best. So I'd say we're probably looking at maybe 5 laps. You're right, by the time they get back around.
Yeah. I'd say 4, maybe 5. I don't think we'll see 6. Definitely won't see 7, because then you'd pretty much make it to the end of the race. So yeah, but we could be on for quite a tasty little sort of final dash to the end here, Cowie. I mean, of course, if they were going to have another safety car, it'd have to come out on the next lap. Otherwise, then they're too close to the end. not that we want to have another safety car in this race. I think probably 1 or 2 is enough every race for F3. Would you not agree?
There's enough. What you're telling me now is that there is such a thing as too much peppers, too much chili.
Well,
Is that what you're saying?
Well, okay. So just to give context, there was, although it was actually an incredible race, last season of Veterans, there was a race at Belle Isle. The first 20 minutes of the race, of the first 20 laps, had 5 safety cars.
I've seen. Yeah, we've had. I think we had 5 or 6 in an F3 race. I think it might have been at Barber.
Yeah.
I suppose so. We have seen, and we all know that safety cars breed safety cars. So it definitely is a possibility with 13 minutes left in this race that it all goes afoul again. But again, look, it's exciting to watch these guys at full speed. It's not quite as exciting watching them limp around behind the promo department machine, which I'm sure is a fine machine on its own right. Looks like is that Danny getting his lap back there, I think.
Yes, I believe it was. I think one thing to remember as well, though, so like it's one of the worst things you can see is a race end under safety car.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
So you
And,
want
well, we saw the controversy of F1 and what happens when you play around with those sort of things too.
Yeah.
So
I think the best system is probably the NASCAR system of you have your
you like the green white checker, do ya?
Yeah, a little bit, but not continuous. Because if they keep doing it, then it's like you sit there for ages. But I think that to have the safety car run, but instead of them crossing the line and ending the race, it crosses the line and then it comes in the pits, and then they do 2 racing laps. I think it'd be good. But I think you don't do a safety car if there's a big crash on those last 2 laps after the safety car's been out. If
Well, it also comes down to damage on track and, how it's going to take to clear.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, thankfully, we don't have that to deal with in the virtual world. But Michael Cuttajar, he's got 3 kittens in his mirror to deal with. So it could be spicy here, but the shoe is on the other foot. Those 3 kittens can plan to their heart's content when they want to go. But it's all on Michael. So the shoe's on the other foot this time. Let's see how he plays it, buddy.
I think we might actually be getting one more lap under safety car here, Cowie. I think maybe they're actually going to... Yeah, I think they're actually going to try and confirm that we won't get another safety car after this one, maybe.
Right, okay. So we can trust you lot out there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think...
Let's just bunches up. I think it might be that there's maybe give Danny a chance to get back on the lead lap, possibly.
Yeah, which would be a
on
bit nice.
The field.
He should get him by the time they get to the elbow.
Oh, Tyson's in the pits. Did we miss what happened? Oh, no, we saw what happened to Tyson, but obviously he used his first fast repair in that first race, so I doubt it we're going to see that car with, just on 10 minutes remaining of this motor race. Right, so it looks like Dean's coming in the pits again, so maybe needed a bit more fuel, did he?
I would
know.
assume so, maybe.
Or maybe tyres, or maybe damage. To keep an eye on his
one
how long he stays in the pits.
Yeah, just to go back to the conversation about finishing under safety car. If there's a massive incident and it needs a safety car, then just red flag the race. Like between the moment of the safety car going in the pits and then having 2 laps to go.
Yeah, look, that was my thought too, but then you saw what happened in the Australian Grand Prix with the red flags in the end. It ended up finishing under yellow anyway. I mean, I think that's what I felt should have happened at Baku in 2021.
Yeah.
But they should, look, when it's that close, the season's down 1 point between them, all that sort of stuff, and there's an incident at the end. We all, I don't know if you remember back to the whole, Nelson Piquet's son and crashing the wall deliberately in a McLaren. They got the big fine,
the crash gate at Singapore.
Crash gate, there you go. crash gate, man. So, I mean, so look, there's all different levels of nuances and permeations that can go into this sort of stuff. You know, I suppose the great thing is here, we've got a bunch of guys out here that are giving each other great respect and racing hard. And, you know, it's been an awesome night of racing tonight, buddy. I was a little deflated with the TCRs last week. But we breathed new life in them tonight with that shorter layout and some great action. The F3s, as always, are just a banging show. And, you know, we just see these boys send it week after week. And sometimes it goes wrong and there's bits of car flying everywhere and the dreaded safety car puts his in appearance. But that's one of the things we love about this racing. It is so on the edge.
Safety car pulls away. Cowie, so we're going to be going racing here. We'll have about 7 minutes left before the end of this race. So I reckon we're going to get 3 laps.
Yeah, maybe a 4 dash. We'll have to see when they cross over because it'll come down to if the leader crosses over with about 2 minutes to go. They might get an extra lap. But yeah, but look at this bunching up. So how is Michael going to play this?
I reckon
Probably
he needs to go
the
halfway
last
round.
corner.
Yeah, and it needs to be halfway round. It can't be.
I would just... Sorry.
No, I was just going to say like halfway around the corner because if you're going to go on exit, then they might be able to call it a lot easier. Where
Yeah,
you kinda,
true.
You know,
But
you catch it a
again,
little bit.
you know, you just concentrate on getting a good exit yourself, and they can't catch you. Right, yeah, he's gone a little bit earlier into the braking zone, so that's just a nice little jump there. So looks like David Gallo read that pretty well though, but Michael straight away going over to the inside just to make sure in case David got a run on him, blocking that off straight away. So, alright, they lead away. We are inside the final 7 minutes of race number 2 here at SRWTV. It is our Formula 3 double header, Formula 3 TCR double header. This is double header, I should say. This is feature race number 2, and it is on for young and old. We've got Michael Cuttajoe, our privateer, and a quick one at that, leading the field, and then there's 3 kittens behind him. Nathan Verney, P5, he'd be loving that, back into the fray, and driving well here. And Jay Dixon, well, he's got a little bit of a get-out-of-jail-free card, and he was getting held up by Tyson there for a long while, and now he gets a chance to almost play with the front runners. So that safety car worked out pretty good for him.
He's able to take incredible advantage of that one though. Gallo putting the pressure now on Kudajar for the lead of this race. I was going to make a joke before, but now I've actually just completely blanked on what it was. I have. It's gone. It'll come back. It'll come back.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Man.
No, it's all right. It's all right. It'll come back, but these guys are on for an incredible dash towards the end of this race. There's only laps left. When they cross the line, we should have, well, I want to say 35.5 minutes of racing done, so about 4.5 minutes of racing left after that, which will be about 2 laps.
Yeah, 2, maybe 3. We'll have to see how it goes. But at the moment, Michael has got that gap out to about 0.6. David catching a 10th back or so coming down Mount Straight, or Conrad Straight, and he's closed it back in again under braking here through the final section of the lap. So I think we're seeing maybe some strong points here. David looks to be strong in the second half of the lap here. And I saw Daniel Byrne peekabooing around Adrian Loretti. There's the other talk. Adrian Loretti, our race 1 winner, now finding himself on the final spot of the podium. And he's moved right over to the left to block his teammates. So there might have been team orders early on. Now it's teammate versus teammate.
Well,
And it looks like Daniel might be getting up the inside there.
I think Byrne needs to realise that Loretti, if he wants to win the round, needs to at least finish, I want to say in second, but that'll probably get him equal points as Michael Kudajar.
Yeah. Well, no, there's more points in this feature race than there is in the sprint.
There you go. So
it's Michael's already, I think, at the moment. But David Gallo's got something to say about that, wanting to make it a kitten double victory tonight. Can he do it? Great run there through McPhillamy. He's got right up on the back of Michael. I think maybe Michael just taking a bit of cautious there. and then stretching that gap out back as they exit the dipper. So he's gone an inside line.
He's looking
So
nice
this is
and tidy
boxing up
still,
the front.
Cowley. Oh, it is, but they're both looking super tidy at the moment. They've got some incredible pace about them right now. They've already gapped P3 and Burn to about 2 seconds. There's currently a two-headed battle between Kujar and Gallo for the lead. And
Jay Dixon has got past. Well, Jay Dixon has got past Nathan Verney there by the looks of it as well, so he's got that job done now, and now he's right up on the back of Daniel Byrne. So this is what we saw in race number 1. Though we did see Kitten, then Carter, then Kitten, and Downforce Racing. But so it's still shuffled up, but Jay's right on the back here, putting some pressure. And Daniel Byrne holding the rear gunner position for the Kittens racing team.
I have to wonder if we will actually get another lap, because when he crossed the line, then we had 3 minutes to go in this race. When he crosses the line at the end of this lap, we'll have 1 minute left. So we might actually see another lap.
No,
that's a big moment.
Kenny has gone into the rear of, was that Keegan?
I think it was Kevin Wakefield.
Oh, Kevin.
And then he's
on the radio now, yeah, so just out braking himself, and Dean Sinkovich trying to avoid the mess, deciding to do a little half Spinovic. But that's probably a smart thing, because the car's still alive, you can keep driving it. All right, back to the front, and Michael Carter, this gap is staying tight. David Gallo, he can see the W, maybe. He's not going to let it just walk away from here. But Michael Carter, ultra smooth at the moment. And that car, can we go on board, have a look at Michael? I reckon we're talking minimal inputs here on the steering. And just control, look at that smooth turn in. A little bit oversteer on exit there, but not too over. Just really concentrating on a good exit. But let's have a look in that mirror. Watch the mirror, everyone, and we see the mirror.
No, not on my screen, unfortunately.
See it. Oh, no. Oh, I was hoping we could see and watch that Kitten start to loom in it. But Michael here with a good run. Let's see where he breaks. That's crazy. Braking at about 60, maybe 70. In the supercar, it's 160. 150 if you're really brave. But... and he's just extended that lead out a little bit, but then we see David Gallo narrow it up. So it was like 0.7 coming through there. It's now about 0.8. So Michael Carter's got those tyres up to temp once again, and now pushing. So this will be the final lap of the motor race. We are inside the final minute. Has David Gallo got one final push in him? Let us know who you're cheering on out there, guys. But this has been some awesome racing here at SRWTV. Have a look what happened to Adam Simpson. So he had a bit of a moment in Murray's by the looks of it. Just looping the rear. Yep, look, the rear's gone around. Oh, unfortunate there. Especially with about a lap to go. But at the moment, Michael Carter is extending this lead. David Gallo is hanging on by his fingertips, by his kitty paws.
How
those claws going to be looking, buddy?
He's gripped on those claws like my cat grips onto the tree in my backyard. He's looking at me right
slipping.
now.
Oh, I think it's slipping down your leg. Is it painful when the cat slips down your leg?
I'll tell you what, though. One time I was in the rig and my cat decided to jump onto me while I was in the rig, and he clawed into my belly and hung off me while I was trying to drive. One of the worst pains I've ever felt. But
I've got a bulldog who likes to climb into my pedal wheel while I'm racing. At the moment, it is Michael Cutter. He has fought off all of the claw attacks from the Kitten Racing Machine behind him, and only 3 corners to go, and looks like David's just not getting the run he needs. Michael with a great exit out of Forest Elbow now has just got to make sure of it at the chase. He's done that. It's smooth. 1 corner to go. And Michael Carter, P2 in race number 1. He will bring it home. A P9 start through to P1 to bring it home. Race number 2 here for round 3 of the F3s at Mount Panorama. What a great show. There's a battle on in the background there. Daniel Byrne hanging on to P3, the final spot on the podium, getting the jump on Adrian Lurity there, and Jay Dixon, he was trying to steal it. You could see those two kittens making sure he didn't have a hope in hell of that. Oh, good battle there at the end. Who was that across the line? Was that Scott Bargen? He
That
just
was,
snuck over Michael Fowson at the line there, I think, too, for P9.
Fowson and Gowans there.
Jack
on the
Gowans.
end.
So it was Fowson that hang on to it just. So Doug was a smidgen from catching him there. All right, so here's going to be interesting. They've got to do a full cool-down lap. Back to the pits. There's no tow zone anymore. I know that the V8 race on Sunday became a fuel race in the end for most of the field, and I think there's probably going to be about half of the field with a rear grid for next round, so that's going to be interesting.
Well, hopefully we can continue this trend of having the grid just expand in size over, next week. Obviously last week we had a little bit of a shorter grid, but then this week it's really picked back up again. I think the combination of Bathurst and school holidays finishing and being after a public holiday they've all it's true. I mean, it's almost like getting little worms from wormwood just coming out and just showing their faces when you bring out that lacquer to really show all the detail in your nice piece of timber. But it was a great race from Cuttajar, Gallo and Byrne. I mean, Loretti was there in the end as well, same with Dixon. So there's still great pace throughout the field, Cowie, although Cuttajar's not pulled up on the line to...
Oh, he hasn't heard it. Look, I think Michael, I'm pretty sure he doesn't race with a headset or anything, so I'd say he's probably got most of the driver chat turned off. But, he does need to be aware of it. Maybe he has gone through his speakers, but I'm hoping he's got his microphone sorted so we can have a chat to him, because I've been trying to have a chat to him for about a year. And, he seems to be quite elusive.
He's, I guess he's probably someone, I don't want to say he's harder to catch than COVID, but COVID was really easy to catch, but maybe nowadays, or at least for me, actually,
Who was that on the radio that just said their engine blew?
I'm not sure. My radio's muted.
Something 02. So who's 202? I think it was Nathan Verney, maybe 282. Anyone else ending in a 2222 was Adam Simpson. It did look like it might have been Nathan Verney's car. It didn't have that colour to it. So that might be a rear grid for Nathan next race after a good P6 result in this one. It was Jay Dixon that blew the engine. Apparently a complete brain freeze, so he's probably shifted back too many gears and popped it. Oh no. So a rear grid may be coming for Downforce Racing Machine next week. Oh no. Well, that is going to make it rather interesting for him. And as you said, if the field keeps getting bigger, a rear grid's going to hurt if there's 25 cars out there next week.
Oh, it really will. So I think we'll give the podium to get into the green room till 35 past. My local time at least. So that's 2 minutes.
Well,
I'm
sure that the two kittens will be up for a chat, so we should see them pretty soon. Just hopefully we can get Michael in there. And I'm just checking out what my Bulldog Max here is doing, because I could hear something in the background. He's generally a pretty good boy, and he doesn't chew my rig or anything. I might have certain sections of the rig blocked off so he can't get to them.
We have got Daniel Byrne ready to come in as well, so we'll bring him in and have a little chat.
All right, buddy, I'm going to let you lead it off.
No worries. Daniel Byrne, massive congratulations to you, sir, on a, well-deserved P3 in that one. I mean, you were having a nice and tasty battle there with your teammate, Adrian. He mentioned you guys were all in the same little Discord chat in the last race. Was he asking you to just let him go so he could really challenge for the round victory today, or just letting you race him?
Yeah, he was. He was saying team orders, move over, and I said, "Nah, not happening today, buddy. Sorry." And kept the foot in.
Michael's just put a chat up there. Well done to the Kittens boys, fun racing in the chat. So I'm thinking maybe he still hasn't got a mic sorted. I don't think he really wants to.
Yeah, he's avoided it so far, hasn't he? But he's got to step up at some point and say hi. But yeah, no, it's really good racing with him. He's he's really quick and he's safe to race side by side with. So yeah, heaps of respect.
Very good, mate. Well, I mean, yeah, we saw some of the action that you had in race one as well tonight, but I think the pace that you had alongside your two other teammates throughout all proceedings tonight was quite commendable. I mean, we saw great battling with Michael throughout this race. I mean, there was a couple of safety cars that brought you both back together. As it was kind of encroaching towards the end of the race, were you kind of thinking, right, I really need to push here to try and get forward and really put the pressure on David to get up to Michael, or were you just kind of thinking, I reckon we should just hang back a little bit and just try and get to the end and consolidate P3?
Yeah, near the end, the last safety car, we were kind of in agreement to let David kind of attack Michael Cutajar as much as he could, because if we started changing positions and he was just going to get away, there was going to be no chance for David to or any of us to try and snatch P1 from him. But yeah, he's just too quick, and David he's always been really quick here as well. So I knew I didn't quite have the pace on David. So I was happy with the P3 rut with that.
Very good, mate. Well, anyone who you want to thank, or if you want to decide who David gets to thank, if he's going to be the one to thank the sponsors from your team. I know that some teams like to do that when they get a double podium. But anyone that you want to thank, you can do so now, and then we'll get Cowie to ask David some questions.
Yeah, sure. Big shout outs to Bianca and my daughter Atari, to Kittens Racing, Drive Radar 8 on YouTube, and AML Technology.
Very good, mate. Fantastic. And Cowie, I'll pass over to you, mate, to end it off with David.
Well, Mr. Gallo, so first question, mate. Have you upgraded those pedals finally? Are you still running the old tech?
No, still, sort of old tech. So the Helsing Bell Springs now. So with the
Okay,
yeah,
that's an upgrade, because I know the boys were telling me you were the last to come over into the digital era last season.
The Fanatec ecosystem. So I've jumped across, but those guys are on the Sim Sports pedals. So, but I'm enjoying them.
Well, mate, it was awesome battle. So you were happy the boys let you have a go, but Michael's pretty quick, man.
Yeah, I just the second I dropped out of his toe there, 0.6 is just no picking him back. He's just super fast, So, but at the same time super clean, and it's good racing, So I saw him catching me, and once he got around me, apart from the safety cars, hard to sort of stick with him.
Well, you double and triple teamed him there earlier in race number one.
Yeah, we sort of stomped him a little bit.
But obviously he enjoyed it. He's loving it. So, but yeah, I remember racing him in the SR8s, and he's come over these S3s, and I think he's found a home, boys. So I think you have it all your own way with him out there.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, happy to have a race. No, it's good.
No, well, I suppose, Dave, any takeaway from tonight? Adrian with the points haul in race number one. But I suppose all of you walk away with a decent chunk of points, except for poor old Danny.
Yeah, I think I was just happy to finish, or keep it on track. It's pretty unforgiving the second run off, hit a wall there. So pushing it and trying to stick with Michael, but sort of happy with the result.
Well, David, well done on P2. Unfortunately, we're not going to get a chance to chat to Michael. So you will have the last call of the night, and give us a big shout out for all your sponsors out there, buddy.
It's the same sponsors pretty much. So Kittens Racing, Driver 808, AML Technology. Big thank you. I think it's SRW guys.
Very good, boys. Well, massive congratulations to both you blokes and Adrian as well. I mean, a great points haul for Kittens tonight, and well, hopefully we can continue to have these such a big grid throughout the rest of the season now, moving forward. So, great job to both you blokes and the rest of your team.
We'll let you know too, boys. You didn't scare off the Upper Venturi boys. They're back at school, so you'll have them to look forward to probably next season, hopefully.
Bring it on. It's all good.
Well done. All right, well, there are our P2 and P3 finishes. The Kittens did get all three of those positions tonight, albeit in different races, but well done to them. And Michael Cutajar, get a mic sorted, buddy. Come on, you can't hide from us forever. We're going to have to send, You maybe have to pull the taken line out. You know, we will find you.
I think there's so many options to get a mic and to get a headset nowadays. So hopefully
That's it.
he can get it sorted soon enough. I mean,
Yeah, no excuses, buddy. Come and have a
No.
chat to us. We'd love to hear
Yeah.
your format. I know you must have thoroughly enjoyed the racing tonight. Well, you said so in the chat. So you got a keyboard. Surely you can get a mouse, a mic sorted as well.
Oh well. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of tonight's proceedings in our double header. You would say the quad header of the TOYOSIM TCR Series and Formula 3 Series as well here on SRWTV at Sebring and Bathurst. It was round 3 of season 2. A massive night of racing, full of carnage, full of crashes, full of safety cars, and well, full of laughs and smiles as well. I have been your producer behind the cameras and your host tonight, Hamish Munro. Alongside me, your average sim racer, Andrew Cowan. Cowie, it's been a fun night tonight. I hope you had a good time too.
I had a blast, mate. Some awesome action on track. Good to see the boys standing it hard, but sending it with respect. It was awesome.
Very good, mate. Well, from me and from Andrew and from SRWTV, we appreciate your time being here and watching the broadcast with us, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't already, click the subscribe button and hit the bell so you are notified anytime SRW goes live with any of our 6 series, but 5 nights a week of broadcasting here on YouTube. We thank you once again, and we will see you tomorrow for the GR86 series live here on YouTube.
Yeah, we'll be starting half an hour earlier, so just be aware of that, guys. Yeah, I was supposed to mention that earlier, guys, but so if you are racing that, make sure you keep an eye on that and be ready for it. But I'm sure that the Discord will have that information all out for you guys too.
Very good. So half an hour earlier tomorrow night for the GR86s. We will see you then with Shibby as your host. Hope you've enjoyed it tonight, and yeah, bye for now.
This is amazing, going to clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostert and Cam Waters, almost the same situation. Better contact going down the hill. Sam Noble wants to sniff from Dave Coleman now. Sam Noble bottle right now because tell you what, Bruce Tanner